Ladies and gentlemen, we are live on Twitch here. It is the Four Orsemen podcast here in conjunction with the WZWA Network. I am your host with the most, Karlifornia in Fury. It is great to be with you all once again. And look, for those that are aware of the Four Orsemen podcast, you may think that there's supposed to be a different host of this show. And there is supposed to be a different host, but after the debacle that took place when we reviewed AEW Revolution with one Luke MonetMaaate getting a little bit too drunk, a little bit out of sorts, a lot of hijinks, a lot of shenanigans took place, Luke. And, you know, I have to say, bro, it was a 4-0 vote. Even you voted in favor of you being suspended for this episode.
Yeah. I don't really have much of an excuse, to be fair.
So you can't explain your actions?
Not really, no. I've got nothing for you.
Pathetic, really.
It is.
Absolutely pathetic. Yeah. But that's the first person we're introducing. MonetMaaate, Luke Monet. Good to have you with us, and hopefully you pace yourself tonight, my friend.
Thanks. I appreciate that.
And next up, he chimed in just before. He is none other than Juicy Boy, Daniel Johnston. What's going on, DJ?
Oh, I'm doing great, guys. Good to be here.
And, of course, right up next, it's Slapnuts himself, Mr. 55 Live, Jack Savage. Jack, what's happening, bro?
What's going on, mate? What's going on? By the way, Luke, you've got the Zoom buttons on the screen.
It's already been fixed up, bro. Already being fixed up.
Anyway, excited to be here, boys.
Yep, fantastic. And, of course, look, this is a monumental moment here in the history of the Four Orsemen podcast because we have a special guest here with us tonight. It is today his time. He is formerly known as a member of the Hell Riders, as Easy Rider in Eastern Championship Wrestling, a member of the famous Dudley family in Extreme Championship Wrestling, known as Chubby Dudley. Although these days he is killing that gimmick because he is no longer chubby. He is the former promoter of Liberty All-Star Wrestling, the one and only incomparable Bay Ragni. How are you going,
Hey.
mate?
What's up, guys? You know, I forgot all the things I did until you just reminded me.
Well, Bay, thank you for joining us. This is going to be fun. I can't wait for us to all get into this episode. And for everyone out there, yes, we are reviewing night one of WrestleMania 37. And this is exciting. You know, this is our WrestleMania of reviews. And it happens to be that we're reviewing WrestleMania. And guys, one after another, some quick, just overall thoughts on the show. Not too long. I'm going to fire off to Juicy Boy. How did you feel about the show today?
You know what? I had low expectations, so I was honestly pretty blown away. I thought it was a great show. I'll be honest.
MonetMaaate, what do you think?
I came in with low expectations as well, but they did really well. They did really well for night one. I've got more to say, and we'll wait until it comes around, but much better than I expected.
Nice. Mr. 55, Jack Savage.
You know what? I've got a list of things. Very, very quick list. I'm just going to shoot them off very quick. All right. Arena looks sick. More fans there than I was expecting. Vince is sick. I want to marry Babe Rexa, whatever her name was. Charlotte was in the intro despite not being on the card. WWE on Peacock. Laughing at people wearing their masks half down. Michael Cole is still a fucking ball ache. I hate that new fucking announcer, Kevin, whatever his name was.
Patrick.
Kevin Patrick. And,
Michael, you mean?
And last but not least, Rollins is still annoying. That's all I had to say so far.
Okay, so that's your overall thoughts on the show, Jack. And, of course, our special guest, Bay Ragni. Bay, what did you think of the show overall in a nutshell?
You know what? Like, I initially felt like, wow, like I realized why I stopped wrestling and being involved in wrestling. But there was a lot of good, bad, and ugly along the way, and I can't wait to dissect it with you guys.
Excellent, bro. And for me personally, my thoughts were like, I thought I was going to hate everything, but surprisingly, I quite enjoyed the show. So we'll get straight into it, guys. The opening of the show. I'm going to go first. One. I thought it was great to have Vince welcome everyone to WrestleMania again. It's been a long time since we've heard him say that live. So I thought that was nice and a nice little bit of nostalgia for everybody. I don't know how to pronounce the name either, Jag. BB Rexa.
Yeah, it's BB Rexa. BB Rexa
with the cleavage there. America the Beautiful indeed. You don't have to tell me twice. I thought the pirate ship looked fantastic, and the intro video was quite interesting to me with the back and forth between the two voiceover guys. I thought to myself, I hope this show isn't going to be too hokey from that. But does anyone have any thoughts on the opening of the show? Bay, please take it away.
You know what? Yeah, I like that Vince came out and everybody came out there and brought everybody back. It would have been a bigger pop off if they had The Rock come out and say, finally, the people have come back to WrestleMania. I think somebody even held the sign up saying that. The girl doing America the Beautiful, I thought she did a great job, but it was just it was such a bad boob job. There was like 2 cinder blocks on her chest.
Luke, what are your thoughts on the opening of the show?
Yeah, I thought it was probably the best way they could do it. There's not much that can get you with more goosebumps than a Vince McMahon welcome to WrestleMania. And it being the first in, a year, a month, and a day, it definitely served its purpose. And obviously, we can talk about Rexa as much as we want. It's all the same outcome, whoever talks about it. So, a good open, I would say.
Jack Savage.
It was good, like hearing Vince, especially like you mentioned before, about coming out and saying "Welcome to WrestleMania." Like it kind of just throws you back to all the old WrestleManias where he would come out and do that for an intro. So no, it was good again, and I thought the arena looked really good, as I mentioned before in that little list I had. Overall, no, it wasn't too bad of an intro actually. Good bit of fun.
Isn't it interesting as Vince gets older, the facial expressions have disappeared? Juicy Boy. What were your thoughts on the opening of the show?
Yeah, well, I echo all of you guys. I thought it was really well done. And I also want to add that it's clear to me that Vince McMahon is no longer capable of saying the syllables WWE. Because every time he tried to say the name of his own company, it was just WWE.
Yeah, it's like WWE.
WWE. WZWA. No, but it was good.
Wonderful. Well, I mean, look, I didn't realize this at the time when I started watching it. All of you guys had already started watching the show before I had the chance to, because I had work, and I managed to watch and hopefully no one from work sees this, but I managed to watch about an hour and a half of WrestleMania whilst I was at work. So technically I got paid to watch it, but I didn't realize that this was going on. I didn't really read our group chat very much, but there was a weather pause just as we were getting into it. So Bay, I'll throw to you straight away. You're probably sitting there getting yourself all geared up. Okay, I'm going to sit through this thing. And then there's a weather pause for half an hour. What did you think of this whole half an hour worth of waiting?
I was saying to myself, whoever would have thought you would have a weather pause for WrestleMania or any wrestling show for that matter. But I was kind of getting nervous because it was going on and on and on. And, they're having everybody cut their promos. I'm like thinking to myself, what happens if they run through everybody's promos and they don't have their new promos prepared?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. It was a bit of a nightmare. Jack, what did you think?
As Hannah just said in the chat, they did mess it up by not having any 24/7 segments. I feel like they could have done a ton of things instead of people just doing scrambling promos just on the spot. I think Drew McIntyre had a very interesting promo here as well, not in a good way. I feel like they've been taping pretty much everything for the last year and a half. Oh, not year and a half, about last year, maybe last 10 months or so. And I feel like that some of the guys doing the promos are exposed because of that. But that's just me anyway.
Fair enough. DJ.
Yeah, look, I thought that they did the best that they could in a situation that would be worst case scenario for a massive production like that with so many moving parts. I think, like, I can imagine that backstage, the people running the show were probably freaking out a bit because, yeah, there's only so much you can do on the fly. But the thing that I noticed was not all of the promos that they did in that weather delay were very good. It definitely showed which of the talents is capable of actually cutting their own, sort of coming up with it on the fly, and which of them relies a lot on reading it off of a page. Some of them were really good, and especially the fact that they were more off the fly and in the moment, that actually really added to it. Like, Seth Rollins annoys the shit out of me, but he was having fun. There was a real fun vibe because all the talents seemed to be really excited, to be there back in front of fans.
Yeah, I'm sure they were excited to say some words that weren't pre-written by somebody else.
Yeah, definitely.
Luke, what were your thoughts on this whole thing?
I mean, it's about as WWE as it gets for them to come out of the Thunderdome and for it to just go wrong immediately. It did not take much time for it to just fall apart. And you could tell they were scrambling. There was a lot of unknown through every single one of the segments. There was the awkward interaction between Drew and Lashley. They were just kind of standing there in each other's face for about 30 seconds before anyone decided it would be time to break them up. There was, I mean, Braun Strowman doesn't know how to cut a face promo still, and it's a lot of things that, because they were exposed for that small period of time, they weren't prepared for that. They were prepared to come in, all guns firing, crowd going nuts, and instead they had to kick them out of their seats for about half an hour. So it threw them a bit of ride, but they did as good as they could in the situation, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like is her name Sarah Shriver or something like that?
Scheibler or something like that. Schreibler.
Whatever. I can't pronounce it, but I've never seen her before. But it was obvious to me that she was a little bit out of her depth, having to come up with some stuff on the spot there. Obviously, she needs a little bit more seasoning as a backstage interviewer. But all I was thinking was, if Mean Gene Okerlund was there, he would have been able to, don't worry, guys, I've got this. So when I first saw it, I was like, oh, my God, are you serious that there's a weather pause? I thought Cole, Joe, and Byron Saxton did a good job at the beginning with the ad-libbing, although Cole still annoys me with his WWE. He said it several times. I thought MVP was great. I thought the Drew Lashley thing was a little funny. New Day did very well, I would say. I expected that from them. When Michael Cole said WrestleMania, I said, fuck you.
I said, fuck you.
Yeah, I was livid.
Fuck you, Michael Cole,
Like,
WrestleMania.
fuck off, Michael.
That's a king of dad jokes right there. Kevin Owens did very well too. I thought it was ridiculous seeing Joe and Cole in the raincoat plastic.
The ponchos.
Yeah, the ponchos. That was. I love that. And when Seth said the word meandering, I was like, wow, I didn't think Seth would know big words like that. But we will continue with my hatred of Seth Rollins later on. Finally, we get to the moment we've been waiting for. Titus O'Neil and Hogan open the show. I'm not going to go one after another here. If anyone wants to chime in after I say my 3 points, be my guest. I just want to say I love Titus. Don't know why nothing happens with him as an active wrestler anymore. Always great seeing Hogan. But the only other thing I wanted to say was I don't understand the concept of a WrestleMania host, because all they do is come out and welcome everyone to the show, even though Vince already did that already. So I just don't understand what their role is in the show. If it's just for the pop of them making their entrance, okay. But anyway, if anyone, please put your hand up if you have anything to say about the opening with Titus and Hogan. DJ.
Yeah, just quickly, I want to say I agree with you that the whole host thing was quite superfluous, but at the same time, like, unnecessary. Fucking, but at the same time, even though it was unnecessary, yeah, okay, cool. Let me just get my stuff out here. I still thought that it was really nice seeing Hogan out there interacting with Titus. I loved his little promo that he cut about the WWE title match about, the Master Lock's the best hold in the business, brother. He could snap in half a 747, dude. I thought that was great. I really enjoyed that. I thought it was a great energy, and I thought it was fun, even if it didn't really have any reason to be there in the grand scheme.
Superfluous. How long have you been waiting to throw that one in, bro?
I just thought of it then.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay. Just off the top of your head. Anyone else with any thoughts on this?
I'll just chuck in quickly because just to answer one of your questions. So they're not using Titus anymore really as a wrestler because they're focusing on his brand ambassador role. He's just going around everywhere doing all the charity work and stuff like that. Hence, obviously, something we'll probably talk about later in the podcast.
Right, cool. Look, let's get past this. It was just the opening of the show of some hosts doing whatever that made no sense. Let's get to the match.
I just want to say real quick.
Sure, Bay.
I don't even know who the hell Titus is. That shows you how out of the loop I am. But I thought he had tremendous energy, and I was like, "Wow, this dude like outshined Hogan in his opening thing." And then I see he's going in the Hall of Fame, and I'm still scratching my head. Who the hell is this guy?
Well, you see, the Warrior Award is a different kind of thing. It was for his charity work and all that stuff. But
okay.
Yeah, so just to keep you up to speed, Bay. Okay, let's get to Lashley and McIntyre. I'm sure you're all excited to finally sink into some real content that happened at WrestleMania. We finally got there, and I'm going to go with Juicy Boy DJ first. What did you think of Lashley versus McIntyre?
Yeah, I thought this was a hell of a match. I mean, I had, a quarter of a page of notes. I mean, right from the beginning, it was clear. First of all, the energy in the match was incredible. It was clear that Drew especially was, both guys looked really amped to be there. And that makes a hell of a difference, in my opinion, that the people in the ring seem excited to be there. That makes me excited to watch. So right from the beginning, I was kind of getting sucked into the whole adrenaline that they seemed to be feeling. It was physical right from the outset. I really liked that this felt like a fight, and this felt like, we've wrestled before, but this is not going to be a technical sort of thing. It's going to be a slugfest. That honestly, it was everything that I wanted it to be. And surprisingly, my prediction came correct, and Bobby retained. That's what I thought they were going to do. It's rare that they do heel title wins or title defenses on Mania like that. But I just thought that the reaction of the crowd, everyone there obviously assumed that Drew was going to win it back. And when he didn't, I think that got some great fucking negative reactions for Bobby Lashley. And I thought they both really, let me just quickly run down here. And the only, no. Really, the only thing else that I have to say is that there was really no negatives for me in this. I think that both guys looked credible. It was believable if either of them had won. The MVP distraction at the end where he yelled Bobby's name and Drew kind of looked back and was like, what? I think that maybe would have been better if he had thrown some brass knucks in or done something a bit more concrete to actually distract Drew. Because why the fuck, if you're in the biggest match of your life, the biggest fight that you've ever been in, you've been waiting for this, you wanted this last year, you earned this last year, but no, COVID happened, the whole world shut down. Now it's back, there's 25,000 screaming fans in the arena, here you are, but you don't have the belt, you're trying to win it back. Why would you suddenly be going, oh, what's MVP yelling out over there? That didn't really make much sense. But that's my only negative, other than that, two big bulls going at it, as I like to say. Great opening match.
Yeah, no, very astute points there, DJ. And I certainly, when you're talking about the finish of the match, I can't wait for me to say what I want to say about it. Bay Ragni, please. What did you think of this match?
I hated this match. I hated it.
Oh, really?
I hated it. Hated it.
Oh, wow.
Because here, again, this is WrestleMania. And old school psychology booking, you open a show with something that's going to be high energy, exciting, get the crowd on their feet. This was like he was saying, a brawl. they're out there, and it's a lot of just brawling. And you could see the energy that they had. You can see they actually looked like they hated each other, which was good, which played up the parts. But being a brawl and there's all these punches thrown, their punches were so weak and horrible looking. It was driving me insane. Hit the motherfucker. Don't be scared. It's WrestleMania. You guys are fucking friends. Fucking hit each other. Don't be scared. My God. When McIntyre says to him, "Bring it, bitch," and then Lashley comes over, like you're ruining the whole energy of this hatred that you guys have. And then, again, to the old school booking, you're supposed to start the show off with an exciting finish to go along with it, where the baby face goes over and the crowd goes wild. You have a title match, world title match, and you had the baby face submit and put the heel over on the worst lame finish. Yeah, you're like he was saying, Bobby. And then he's like, stops dead. Oh, did you call my name? Oh, you're in a title match. You're going to be distracted by somebody calling your name. There's 25,000 fans calling your name. Yeah. Who's booking this crap?
Love it, bro. Love it. I'm going to go next, okay, before I get to the last two, okay? First thing I want to say is I hate the filters that they put on the screen during the entrance. And the big pirate hanging over the set. I just don't like it. It's just too distracting and annoying.
Childish.
It is. And I know that they're, a PG fucking product or whatever, but the fact is that Monday Night Raw, doesn't it air at like 9 p.m. or something like that? Like kids are in bed at that point. And if anyone says, "Oh, well, they DVR it," don't fuck with me on that, okay? I thought the ring announcer looked very dapper, a little too dapper. I really loved the match after the beginning when they were brawling, because when they were brawling a lot at the beginning, I don't know. I was just like, it wasn't gripping me. But I found some of the stuff that happened later on quite good, and I did get quite invested in the match, and I thought McIntyre's dive to the outside was amazing. I think that he should only do that at WrestleMania, like Undertaker used to do. Save it for once a year. Everyone knows it might be happening. The big dive. Don't do it every pay-per-view. I thought that was quite a sight to see. I loved MVP at ringside, but I'm a big fan of his. So I was happy with the match after the first part of it when it started to kick into higher gear. But the finish, this is what I would have done. Okay, instead of having him yell Bobby, because what would have he been yelling the whole time? He would have been yelling his name several times over during the match, because that's what managers do. He's got that cane with him. How about when he's going for that Claymore kick, he just, as he's about to go, MVP just pokes that cane in the ring, not even tripping him up, just to distract him. He'll look down and be like, "Oh, okay, I'm fine," and then go for it. That second of distraction is then what costs him, not him yelling Bobby. I mean, this is where Pat Patterson would have come in and been very helpful, I think. But, that kind of ruined it for me. And I was surprised that he lost by the referee just calling for the bell. But still, I liked the match. It was just the end and the beginning just wasn't there for me. But anyway, I'm going to throw this over to Luke.
Yeah, I really didn't like this match. Obviously, Bay is excluded kind of from this question. Did any of you see Drew and Lashley's Impact matches?
No,
not really.
Right, so those were really good. Like, they were some really good contests. So I was going in with a lot of high expectations for this one because I knew Drew wanted to open Mania, be the first guy in front of the crowd. That makes sense, whatever. And it was just really bad. It was sluggish. There was no timing. There was a lot of it. It just seemed like it went wrong in a lot of different areas. And like there was a top rope spot where it looked like it was meant to be a suplex, and then they kind of slipped and tripped, and it was just all over the place. The brawling that was meant to be brawling looked nothing like brawling. The thing is, though, they both look like stars. And I mean, I haven't really followed the opinion on Drew. I haven't really been sold on Drew, but you could tell most of the crowd has. Everyone's going nuts over them.
I'm a fan of Drew. Yeah, I'm a fan of.
I'm a fan of Lashley. Lashley looked like an absolute stud. I'm not surprised they kept the title on him. He looked incredible. But
Yeah.
I mean, the crowd really helped the match in reality because the crowd was red hot. If it wasn't for the crowd, I would have just written this match off completely. But I mean, it was all right. A bit of a disappointment compared to the other matches, but you know, what can you do?
I think Lashley really needs to work on his punches.
Yeah. Oh
I
no.
don't know.
For someone with, I think his
mark, and it's not my place. But look, I did do wrestling, and I think I've got a better right hand than him.
Well, you'd think with Lashley, he's got I think it was a 15-2 or 14-2 MMA record. I mean, he's capable of striking. So
maybe that's what it's about. Maybe that's what it's about. He doesn't want to fucking clock somebody.
Maybe.
You know, so he's skittish about it. But who knows? You know.
I mean, but my overall opinion, compared to the rest of the card, probably one of my least favorite matches. A big disappointment for me.
Jack Savage.
I actually really don't have much to say about this one. You guys have essentially said more of it. Nothing special. Two of yous liked it. Two of yous disliked it. I'm going down the middle.
Oh,
I'm just going to be neutral. I'm
Oh,
neutral.
You're going to be on the fucking fence. So I spend all afternoon writing these notes, and you're going to be on the fucking fence.
What a waste of my goddamn time.
Oh god.
All I got to say is I wasn't expecting the winner, and reunite the Hurt Biz. That's all I got to say.
Yeah, no, that was a massive mistake because now what's Shelton and Cedric doing? They got eliminated first and second in the Battle Royal, apparently. So I just think that, and it's across the board, everyone who's got a podcast has said that it was a mistake taking those two away from the group because they weren't doing anything beforehand and they're not going to do anything afterward. So here we go. I'm just going to quickly get into this backstage segment, which I don't understand what the point was. Maybe it was just to get the NWO on screen, but there was Bailey in out the back there with the NWO and Titus. I thought it was a bit weird, and when I was watching it, I thought to myself, man, Scott Hall's looking old, and he was in that t-shirt, and I don't just. Put a leather jacket on him. Make him look a little bit more, thick. The guys, they're very entertaining guys when you let them talk. And I just thought this was very hokey. And I thought, are the NWO, are they mutes? Because none of them were saying anything when Bailey was talking. I mean, Nash had this and then he did that. Nash is a quick-witted guy. He would have something to say. I just don't know what the point of doing it was. Take advantage of their sense of humor. They're standing there looking almost like they don't know what to do because no one's given them any direction on what to do. I'll just let Bailey do her thing. There was no point to this segment, but does anyone have anything to say about it?
Yeah, I do. I've actually look, to be honest, I liked the idea of getting Bailey mixed up with the NWO because she does a good job with this whole annoying loudmouth character she's doing. But it was clear to me that not only did no one think through the segment at all, they just said, we'll have Bailey interact with the NWO backstage. And that seems to be as far as they went with the planning of it. I mean, you said that it seemed like NWO didn't have any direction. I felt like it looked like Kevin Nash looked like it would rather be anywhere else in the world other than on camera. And I thought that Scott Hall, he looked healthy, but he also in a lot of ways looked like an old man that just was kind of wondering what the fuck's going on. When are we going to go and sit back down? It just looked, and I'm not bashing them personally. I'm just saying that's how it came across due to the way that they had those two standing there like that. Whereas last time you saw NWO at Mania 31, they had something to do. So they were feeling it, they weren't feeling it here. They just got trotted from their skybox or wherever to come and do this little quick thing for 10 seconds. And then they left again. And it just doesn't work. It just didn't, it was a waste. It was a real waste.
Anyone else, Bay?
I didn't like it at all. And Scott Hall, I thought he looked really kind of frail looking. Like he didn't.
Yeah.
I don't think
That's
he
the
looked
word.
good. Yeah,
Even when he walked out later on for the Hall of Fame thing.
he didn't look good.
And then like when they
Yeah.
all went like that, he just kind of went.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going on there because I saw a picture that he put up maybe, I don't know, 2 years ago, and he looked quite jacked in the picture, but maybe things have gone a little downhill for him physically.
I think, I mean, I know he was working with DDP, and they were doing really well, and I think he kind of fell off the wagon again or something.
Right.
Oh man.
Well, let's move on to tag team turmoil, guys. Jack, I want your thoughts first and foremost about the tag team turmoil with all the thrown together women's tag teams.
All right. You want me to be honest?
Go for it.
I'm sorry. I just don't give a shit. I was making breakfast. Like that's it.
Good
I
to
skipped
have
the
you on
match
the
to make
show, bro.
breakfast.
Luke.
Fucking hell.
I don't care.
Jack,
I don't
you're
care.
0-2, right? You're 0-2 right now.
That's
I don't
fucking,
care.
that was terrible.
Luke.
Jesus.
I didn't see any of it. I saw Mandy slipping. That was sick.
Yeah, I mean, let's quickly talk about that. Why are people not cleaning the floor after they've just let rain pour down from in, like, I don't know. There was
How are you supposed to do it?
no, but
How are you
if
supposed
the
to
rain
do it?
has stopped enough, they could at least do something, right? There was about 6 or 7 people throughout the entire show that slipped. It was just bad. But moving on,
AJ slipped as well.
yeah, there was a few. I mean, like 4 bunnies slipped. We'll get into that as well. But
Fuck.
tag team turmoil, I was surprised. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. It doesn't necessarily mean that it was anything like hot, but it was pretty good for a tag team turmoil match. I feel bad for Naomi and Lana for just not getting an opportunity. Naomi's really good and Lana's come leaps and bounds from when she first started. Riot Squad looked incredible as a tag team, and it's a bit of a disappointment they didn't win it. They actively, when they were talking about the match at the start, called Billy Kay and Carmella a thrown together team, which is
Yeah.
I mean, why would you publicly announce that on your show that they're just a thrown together team? That just devalues the entire idea of it being a number one contenders match if they've never been a team. It doesn't make any sense that
Exactly.
Yeah. But I mean, I was really happy to see Tamina get her Mania moment. I mean, she hasn't done a lot in her, I think it's like 12-year career in WWE.
Yeah.
But I mean, because of the fact that she's been there for so long, it was she deserved something at least. So for Natalya to give her that, do the Superfly splash, it was good. But yeah, I thought Riot Squad probably should have won it. Their new tag finisher that they've got there, I don't know if it's new. The gut buster into the, I think it was a senton.
Senton?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was really good. That was really good. So I'm a bit disappointed that they didn't win, but pretty good. Pretty good.
Bay, what were your thoughts on the tag team turmoil for the women's number one contendership?
No, I didn't know like anybody except Natalya and Tamina. But the first part of it, I was blown away by Naomi. I was like, this girl is amazing. I thought at that point she was definitely the best worker of the night and probably one of the best workers on the whole show. And I was just like really disappointed that they only gave her, a few minutes. They should have gave her a lot more time. The rest of it, I wasn't really overly impressed with. I was kind of like shocked too for the one finish with Mandy and Dana. There was like for the finish, the camera actually missed the finish. I was like, whoa, that's like, again, like this is WrestleMania and you're having bad camera work on a finish. I was kind of shocked by that. But yeah, I mean, it was okay. It was good. I was just very disappointed that Naomi didn't get more time in the match. I thought she was the star of the show so far.
Excellent. Luke, did you want to say something?
Yeah,
Luke,
I mean,
you want to chime in because being Mr. Johnny Sidebar. And
Yeah,
all.
it's me.
Johnny Sidebar over
yeah.
here.
Bay, I mean, as you said earlier, Bay, you haven't watched wrestling in a while. WWE are notorious for bad camera angles and just missing the mark. Like, they just all the time. On all their weekly television, it's just frantic camera angles, 3-second camera changes. It's a mess all the time. So it's common. So WrestleMania is no excuse.
It's kind of like, I think that word right there, you said frantic. It seemed like it was a lot of frantic, like just the whole show. Like, it just seemed frantic. I just had that feeling. Like, is it like that always on the weekly TV shows too?
Yeah, I mean, when there's a brawl of some sort and there's strikes going, the camera shifts with all the movement, and it's just like
zooms in and out like that, and it's just like, stop it, just let them brawl. Stop zooming in and out, dude.
Thanks, Kevin Dunn.
Fuck, man. DJ, over to you, my friend.
This fucking sucked.
That's
It fucking sucked. It did. It was it. You know what? See, now that I've actually started talking about it, I find myself like now I'm getting worked up about it. Like,
No, let's just leave it at that.
this was a disservice to every single woman in that match. This was a disservice to the fact. This was shit. This was worse than I expected it to be, and I already knew it was going to be a clusterfuck before I even watched it. This would have been better served to be a straight tag match between the Riot Squad and Natalya and Tamina, or a three-way tag between Naomi, Lana, Riot Squad, and Natalya and Tamina. Those are the people in there that actually know what they're doing, and I just think the whole turmoil format made it even worse. At least if they had just stuck to a standard number one contendership tag match, then everyone would have been able to figure out where their X's and O's were and get things a bit more cohesive. But there was just like, it was clear that the timing wasn't there for a number of people in the match, and left hand didn't know what the right hand was doing, and a waste, you know.
Now we know why that they didn't have a women's battle royal for the whatever the thing is called.
I think it's
it should be called the China Memorial Battle Royal or whatever, but they didn't do it because obviously, we need to throw all the girls in this tag team turmoil match.
Yeah. I must say it is nice that this year there was no battle royal, and there will be no battle royal at WrestleMania because they had the Andrew the Giant battle royal on what night was it? On SmackDown on Friday. So
just to clear that one up for Bay, they announced the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal as the Andrew the Giant Memorial Battle Royal on all their socials.
The graphic was incorrect. They the wrong name.
They've got I don't know what's going on with their proofreaders, but it's pretty regular as well. There's just so many mistakes. They accidentally leaked that this tag turmoil match is actually going to be a 5-team match. It was originally a 4-woman, 4-team. And they accidentally leaked it to be a 5. So,
what the hell is going on?
Yeah.
And the funniest thing about it is when we do our little video game things on our network, I have a character that pops up every now and then that always gets the wrestlers' names wrong, and he always says, "Oh, that's Andrew the Giant." So that's what popped us over that. But
I would pay money to see Vince's reaction when he found out that happened, and that person had to be fired.
Andrew,
one of the biggest names of the Federation's history.
They also talked about the tag turmoil match and called it a fat 4-way match instead of a fatal 4-way. They called it a fat 4-way. Brilliant!
Wow!
And
oh my god!
Okay,
you can tell Vince, as he's getting older, he's loosening his reins and he's distributing the jobs more.
Mm-hmm.
And wow.
Yeah.
So I'll quickly chime in with my thoughts here and read out my notes. So Naomi and Lana obviously teaming together. First note I have is Lana drives me up the wall because she's just so attractive. The first match of the turmoil started, and what I wanted to say was the girls can be a little messy when they're rushing. Obviously, they're trying to get their shit in because they only have a certain amount of time to get their shit in. Got to get yourself over in that small amount of time that you're given. So I think Lana completely missed a kick on one of the girls. And so I noticed that. But the first elimination was nice and quick. My thoughts were when the Riot Squad came out, this is the only tag team that have been together even before there were women's tag team titles. The fact that they haven't won the belts yet is a disservice to having teams that are actual teams and not thrown together teams like everyone else other than those two seem to be in this match. And I will rant on that in a minute. This thing with Carmella on the ropes with Billy Kay, and Billy's pinning someone and she's pushing her feet against Billy's back whilst that was messy. And they did it twice, and the second time was worse than the first time. And I'm like, just don't do that. Don't do it. It looked shit. I was impressed with Ruby Riott, especially with the sentons off the top. Okay. You guys all know I'm a hornbag. I'm a hornbag. When Dana and Mandy came out, I went, holy shit, Dana. Unbelievable. And like the outfits were fantastic. They looked fantastic. I really popped for that.
Set every teenager wild.
Absolutely.
All seriousness.
They were the two blondes, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I hated them. I was like, I said to myself, who the hell dressed these two and gave them their hair? Because they looked like throwbacks to the Playboy Mansion from the 90s.
That's the best part.
That's what I like. I like that stuff.
But come on, it's 2021. Look a little more modern. Everything looks so fake.
It did kind of look like they were wearing like those, like what you'd see the female wrestlers from the 80s wearing, like those colored leotards, like gymnastics looking outfits.
Mm-hmm.
Continue drinking your water out of a bottle of Coke, bro. Okay.
I reused the bottle.
The ring announcer fucked up at one stage and announced that someone was eliminated when they weren't supposed to. I hope he got a real serving. Tamina, I thought she did well. Honestly, in the last few years, every time she comes out, I go, oh, here we go. But she did well. I think the new outfit helped her because I think what she was wearing before really restricted her. But it looks like she's cut a bit of weight, and so she moved a bit better than usual. So Tamina and Natalya won the match. I'm not sure if that's the match that I wanted to see tomorrow, but it'll do. It's fine. But here's my rant. And maybe when we do the Four Horsemen, Luke, maybe we need to have like a graphic pop up every time Carl wants to go on a rant.
So more work for me to do then.
More work for you to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Look, if you're going to start a women's tag team division, it can't be full of thrown together tag teams. Some teams need to stay together for a while and establish themselves. Why start a division if you're not going to map ahead? Okay, we're going to put these girls together and these girls together, and we're going to establish them as a team going forward for the next 18 months or whatever. You had teams like the Iconics. They're split up now, and now Billy Kay's with someone else. I'm done with this thrown together tag team bullshit because you remember back in the great day of the late 90s when you would have a tag team division in the WWE, which had Too Cool, the Acolytes, the Holly Cousins, the Hardy Boys, Edge and Christian, the Dudley Boys. And that's just 6. Kai and Tai, Mean Street Posse, the Headbangers.
Head cheese.
Head cheese. TNA.
Smoking guns.
All the roster at the same time. In that period of time, that's like nearly 10 teams, and I'm only touching the surface. If I googled it, I guarantee you I could find at least 3 or 4 more teams.
And an X-Pac.
A thrown together tag team like the Rock and Sock Connection. It didn't take very long to establish it because of the pre-existing relationship between the two characters. TNA, Test and Albert. If anyone says, "Oh, well, they were thrown together tag team," let me say this, okay? They were thrown together because they didn't know what to do with both of them. But within a few short weeks, they were so established after getting a couple of victories over the Dudley Boys on TV and pay-per-view that you would have thought by that point, when you watch them, you just in your brain, subconsciously, you just feel like they've already been together for months and months and months because they knew how to establish teams when they were thrown together. Now they just fucking throw teams together willy-nilly, and this is why I hated the idea of a women's tag team turmoil, because within we've got 6 weeks till Mania. We better form some teams for this match. I don't think that's good business. I think it's stupid, and it's just them thinking, well, we need to get all the girls on the show, so let's just do this. I don't like it. So that's my rant, and I'm sticking by it. So
Nice.
Before we move on to Seth versus Cesaro 24/7 title, I don't know what this little segment was all about. It looked ridiculous, fake. I fucking hate the 24/7 championship.
I want to. I'm jumping in for a sidebar here.
Go for it.
So I'm sidebarring. Like I'll tell you this: the 24/7 title stuff. Most people aren't a big fan of it, but I see the purpose it serves because I know it's entertaining for children and stuff like that. R-Truth's a very popular character. He's normally involved in those segments. What is really pushing it over the line? You know, like if you go, like, you know, Monet, if you take, you know, like your kids out to watch a movie, or if you see a kids movie or something with them, there's jokes in there that appeal to like the parents.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, it's tucked away.
This is a situation where it's so unfunny. It's just so. That's right. That was the term I was looking for. They've basically combined these 24/7 segments now with the old Spice ads, and they've turned it into this weird excuse for a commercial / segment, and it's just the most vapid, contrived, wooden, artificial shit ever. And I can't stomach it. Even 30 seconds of it is too long.
It is wooden. Yep. Babe, what do you think of the 24/7 championship? You could win that.
That'd be the only title I'd be able to win. You know what? I probably got up and went to the bathroom because I missed this spot. So, but I think it's entertaining. I mean, the whole gimmick of it. I think it's entertaining.
Anyone else with any thoughts?
No, I didn't even see it.
I will. Yeah, I'll point out that I didn't see it. It must have been when I was dealing with one of the kids or something. Because when you mentioned 24/7, I was like, "What?"
There was nothing happened. It was just like a video package about it. I don't even know why they bothered. But,
Look, I mean, the 24/7 title, from what it started as, which was meant to be like the PG version of the hardcore title, where there was some really good moments with it that were actually like entertaining, like Cesaro pulling R-Truth out on a table from under the ring, and it's just like, okay, well, that's fucking random, but it's entertaining. Now they've gone to a point where it's probably going to be defunct in the next year.
I hope so.
Bad Bunny handed the title to R-Truth, and now R-Truth's the 24/7 champion. That's how he won the title. It wasn't a pinfall; he just literally handed it to him. So they're running out of the fun stuff to do with it, and now they're just going to have an extra title that they need.
This is what happened to the hardcore title, bro. They made it 24/7, but it was very creative with Crash Holly, Mike Lockwood. Every segment they came up with, very creative, very entertaining. Him defending the belt against the Headbangers in like a ball pit playground somewhere. Like, it's ridiculous. Like the Mean Street Posse trying to pin him whilst he's asleep in the hotel room. Great stuff, but eventually they ran out of ideas, and that's why Raven is a 27-time hardcore champion, because people would run in and during a match, 10 people, and 10 people would get a title reign for 7 seconds each, and then it would go away, and that's why the hardcore title ended up getting rid of, because there's nowhere else to go with it. You've already killed it, and they've killed the 24/7 title because they got away from being creative with it because they ran out of ideas.
Yeah, but I'll add one last thing because I forgot to mention it, but I'll be really brief. I on that point that you just made, Carl, about the 24/7 title, but it goes really to any idea. It includes the hardcore title, how that fizzled out eventually as well, or the European title. You know, I think like with anything, you know, everything creative has like its shelf life. And I think there comes a point where they ran out of ideas with the hardcore title and doing those segments and stuff, so they stopped doing them. Then years later, they've gone, oh, wow, people love them crazy hijinks that we used to do with the hardcore title, but we can't have violence anymore. So what we'll do is we'll just make it that the 24/7 part of the hardcore title, that's now the whole gimmick now. And we'll recreate some of that stuff. But everything they do now is so sterile, and there's such restrictors on everything they do that they can't possibly recreate the spontaneity that they used to have, where they actually would be filming this crap on location in a bar or in the parking lot or backstage in the locker room or something like that.
Yeah, they don't make that effort anymore, do they?
But
They
it's not even. But it's not. But that's the thing. They make too much effort. Like that's what I'm saying. They back in the day, they would have just put the guys there and started shooting the thing, and whoever was there was there. Now everything's got to be so glossy and prearranged and artificial. So yeah, we'll move on though.
Let's move on. Let's talk about Seth Rollins versus Cesaro. This is one of my favorite matches on the show. Bay Ragni, I would like to go with you first on your thoughts on this match.
Yeah, I agree. I thought this was a great match. I really, really liked it. It was a great story that was told. Everything looked super solid. A lot of back and forth, a lot of false finishes, a nice build up to the actual finish. I thought at this point, without a doubt, it was match of the night. The crowd was just so into it. And the one funny thing that I noticed, though, there was at one point Rollins gave Cesaro an elbow, and you heard the loud smack pop of it. And then you saw on the Cesaro's back where Rollins actually slapped him to get that pop, and you saw the handprint.
I saw that.
But yeah, I thought it was definitely one of the matches of the night.
Nice.
Cool, bro. DJ, let's go to you.
Yeah, agreed with you guys there. I think I loved seeing a guy like Cesaro that's been toiling in the mid-card for fucking years actually get a singles one-on-one match at WrestleMania that went for more than 5 minutes. And then to top it off, he actually won the thing. I was like, now they've put themselves in a situation, they being the company, where they're going to be forced to notice a bit more just how much Cesaro has to offer. And I really dearly hope that it leads to some more success for him. But the actual match itself, I loved the fact that it was almost like a modern version of one of those golden era 50s wrestling matches where you had like this dastardly shit heel, in Seth Rollins, and then you had this big strong man doing these big physical impressive displays of strength and manhandling, and like it's a carnival performance and he's some kind of strong man. And I just thought that was the kind of dynamic that I felt with this match, where it was just everyone's kind of having a bit of a laugh at Seth Rollins' expense, but they're also at the same time wanting to see this fucking great athlete who they respect because he's fucking good at what he does. They want to see him kick this fucking idiot's ass, and that they want to be wowed while, at the same time, they want to be wowed by what he can do. And I think that this match served that purpose excellently. I mean, the counters, the psychology of, staying focused on certain things and, going back to the big swing over and over. Loved it.
Excellent, bro. Jack Savage, did you see this one or were you making brunch this time?
No, I actually did see this one this time. The fact that this was the first ever singles match for Cesaro at WrestleMania that wasn't a dark match or on a pre-show is just fucking disgusting and pathetic. Cesaro deserves much better, but I speak a little too soon there. I thought this was actually a pretty good match. For me, not match of the night, but I enjoyed it a lot. Shout out to Seth Rollins for that corkscrew splash. I thought that was really cool. I haven't seen many people do that. The neutralizer spot was really cool. Should have been a 3 count though if they're going to have Cesaro win. Also, why are people kicking out of the pedigree? I just always hate it. I also don't like Seth Rollins using it. And also, I also laughed. So we had a little bit of a watch party in the WZWA Network Discord server this morning, and me and Imo Creation were laughing at the fact that the crowd cannot count the fucking giant
Oh my
swing
God,
properly.
don't get me started, bro.
They're counting for every half count.
Yeah.
Every half.
No, like Michael Cole started counting at the beginning, but then the crowd were counting ahead of him, so he just stopped. So the next time they did, you didn't hear a peep from him.
No.
Oh, it was ridiculous. But overall, I enjoyed the match. I'm stoked for Cesaro. I think the right man won, and yeah, happy with the match. It was just the typical mid-card WrestleMania match. I think both guys should be pretty happy with their performances. It's actually surprised Seth Rollins gets a tick from me this time.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, I'm going to go next before I throw to you, Luke. Look, when Seth walked out, I went, ugh. He has go away hate with me. I just can't stand him. And to think that I dislike Cody Rhodes more than him, man, I must really dislike Cody Rhodes. But yeah, but you know what? After the entrance, Cesaro made his entrance, and all the shit that was showing up on the screen made me nearly have a seizure.
Oh, the numbers in the green, the Matrix
My
stuff.
God, enough with the fucking shit that's going on
Yeah.
there. It was just too much. I was like, my gosh. But look, they did air a little build-up video, the promo video beforehand, and through watching that, I softened more on Seth because I like the character. I actually do like the character. I think it's a good change, and it's something different and a little more fresh. So that was nice. So that helped me, ease into the match like an old man getting into the bathtub. I wanted to say, first and foremost, a superplex into a Falcon Arrow is a finisher.
Yeah,
It is not something you kick out of. And when you just hit a superplex, your body has also had that impact. How are you able to get up straight away and pick someone up and Falcon Arrow them? I never liked that move. You take a superplex, you're taking the bump too, man. You're taking it as well. And it's just like giving someone a missile drop kick. You're hitting the mat very hard. I think people need to sell that as well, but you don't see that as much these days. I think Seth is very precise with his movements and his landings. I was impressed with that. He's obviously quite athletic. And as Jack had mentioned before, the swing, the fucking crowd, it really annoyed me because I was counting, because you count every time it hits a certain point. So it goes to here.
A full circle.
1, 2, 3, not 1, 2, 3, 4. That's fucking
annoying.
They're counting
So
seconds,
annoying.
man. Counting seconds.
yeah.
So annoying. So annoying.
Typical wrestling fans, bro. Some of Seth's moves are annoying. Like there was a bit where Cesaro was like on his knees and he ran off the ropes and like he tucked one leg in and then he back kicked him with the other. And I'm just like, dude, just knee him in the face. You don't need to make everything so intricate. The UFO, that move where he puts him on the shoulders and he spins, and then he just stops holding him and keeps spinning. How does he do that? That's insane.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That was one of the most impressive things I think I've ever seen. I've seen him do it before, but I'd kind of forgotten about it, and he done it again. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, that is such a great move. And I thought the finish to the match was probably one of the best finishes of the show. I like it when there's an intricate counter that comes into his finisher, perfect positioning, boom, hit it. And when it was a 3 count, I went, yes. So whenever I go, yes, at a finish of a match, then I know that that is my cum shot. Luke, what are your thoughts on this matchup?
Very well put there at the end there, Carl. Well done.
Thank you. The red wine is starting to.
I need another beer.
Do it, bro.
I really did like this match from the wrestling perspective. This was match of the night. The new tweaks that Seth's done on the Messiah character, where he's gone from weird cult leader to like insane politician, like sleazeball politician, is a really nice touch, because it's also driving into the curve that he's making for himself on social media by being an idiot, talking like obnoxiously and stuff before the character, and now he's leaning into it, because now he's posting on Twitter like Donald Trump is, and posting all these like the controversial
the capital
figures.
letters. And
Yeah,
that stuff.
all the things that people hate, he's now doing actively, and I think it's a great improvement to his character. This match proved that you don't need to have promo skills nowadays to be a star in professional wrestling. That's something that I didn't believe for a while. I've always felt that promos are a vital part of wrestling, but there's some characters that can get away with just being really, really good wrestlers. And Cesaro's promo skills have improved over time, so that's always a benefit. But
well, how's he supposed to get better at it, bro, if they don't give him
exactly.
interview time?
I mean, you can listen to the crowd. For a guy that Vince has said that he just doesn't click with the audience, they were going fucking nuts, and they've been going nuts for 7 years. He's finally had his first Mania match and blown the non-existent roof off the stadium. Everyone went nuts for it. The UFO was sick. The stomp into the uppercut, great. It was just a really good match, and it's hard to deny Cesaro as a competitor. Seth did really, really good. I would say amazing, actually. It's really hard to compliment him when he's, Seth Rollins. But overall, from a wrestling point of view, the top wrestling match of the night by far.
Yeah, I really dug it, bro. And, on that point about promos, as I chimed in before, people don't find their footing with their promos unless they get to do it every week. Like when Kurt Angle first showed up in the WWE, he was okay, but as time wore on, they gave him every single week, they gave him 20, 30, 40 seconds during his entrance to cut a promo on the crowd, the local crowd, diss the local hero, and then get on with the match. As time wore on, he was now doing 5-minute, 10-minute promos in the ring because he got good at it. You're only good. Practice makes perfect. Give Cesaro more chances to do that. Find his groove. Don't script everything. Give him bullet points and just let him go with it. It'll help him in the long run. And anyway, it's time to move on. Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode have a random interview backstage. They're not on the show. They defended their tag titles successfully on the WrestleMania SmackDown for the unofficial pre-show to WrestleMania 37. Does anyone have anything to say about this? It seemed a little weird that they come out for an interview to be asked about the other tag team title match that got on the show, and theirs didn't, and then they didn't even complain about it.
Yeah.
Anyone at all?
I'll go because it's just that. Why would you not be upset about not being featured on Mania, but instead the go home show on SmackDown defending your titles? And it's that they're coming out here and they were in the weather warning moments as well. They were there during that part. Why would they not be upset about one, not getting a Mania payday? If they're the heels, they want the cash, they want the fame. Why would you not be upset? Let alone talking about who the complete opposite brand's champions, who you're trying to be better than. You're trying to be the top tag team in the entire company, and you're making predictions about who's going to win or lose the next match. It's just a waste of time, an actual waste of time for two guys that should be on the Mania card, should be a solid tag team. Another thrown together tag team for Dolph Ziggler that gets a title reign, but just what's the point? What's the point?
Yeah. Anyone else, Bay? Do you have any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I don't know the whole backstory, but I thought it was like an awkwardly placed segment. I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
And this is the big thing with current, because all the things you're saying, Bay, is one of the biggest stripes we have is that because you haven't watched wrestling constantly for a while. For people that are tuning in for the first time in however long, or casual viewers and stuff like that, they are not making a single effort to keep them invested.
Yeah.
You need to be able to okay, the first show I ever watched was Survivor Series 1998. Within I knew everything that was going on throughout that show, and I was up to speed on everything. It was the first time I'd ever watched wrestling. That's what gripped me about it, and they know how it works. So all these years later, they've forgotten the tricks of the trade, and you should be planning every show assuming that someone is watching or tasting this for the first time in a long time, and they need to be brought up to speed. Anyway, let's move on to New Day versus AJ and Omos for the tag team titles, the Raw tag team titles. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to go first this time. Okay. When New Day come out, I'm like, I yawn because 11-time tag team champions, been in the tag team division now for so fucking long. It's just a little, I'm at the point now where I'm really bored with them because it's been the same thing for I don't know how many years. They've been around long, nearly twice as long as the NWO ever was, and everyone said that went on too long. New Day dancing to AJ's theme song really annoyed me. You're about to defend your tag team titles. This is a serious situation. You're about to get punched in the face, and you're dancing around. Like, I get it. You're an entertaining, fun-loving tag team for the kids, but at some point when you get to the biggest show of the year, you should be taking something seriously, especially if one of the guys is 7 foot tall and is going to be about to take your head off.
7'3".
7'3". Xavier needs to shut up during the matches. He is so irritating. I don't know how he doesn't get heel heat from how annoying he is. I guess the kids love him or whatever, but I just want to see him get fucking mashed. I'm just over the New Day. It's so fucking old. They need to do something fresh. I know Kofi won the WWE Championship a couple years ago. You know, he took a little sidebar to do that. Now he's back in the tag team. After 11 tag team title reigns, you've hit the pinnacle of the tag team division. Most people that do things in their life, let's say, for example, Justin Timberlake. Okay, you've got a group called NSYNC and you do really well there. But now, okay, we've hit the pinnacle there. I want to do something else. Okay, I go solo and I win all these awards and I do really well in my music career solo. Okay, like I've done that now. Now I want to go be an actor. So now he goes this is human nature. You know, you hit the pinnacle, you get all your goals, you succumb to all your goals, you're so happy, you want to move on to the next thing. This is human nature. Why would someone just be happy to do the same thing over and over and over again? By now, one of them should have been frustrated and wanted to do something else, but no. They're still happy just doing the same thing. And if they're around in 5 years still doing the same thing, then they've done a disservice to their own career as far as I'm concerned. Even if the merch money is good, I would be dissatisfied creatively. Anyway, away from that, AJ goes from working with The Undertaker last year to hardly being able to handle the New Day. He goes from fighting The Undertaker in literally a fucking graveyard to hardly being able to handle these guys. If it were me, and I said it to you guys last night, AJ should have wrestled Triple H on this show and he should have beaten him clean in the middle of the ring. I don't know why Triple H wasn't on the show. Maybe he just doesn't feel like he can do it anymore. But to go from Undertaker to a tag title match the year after, I just think is a step down for him. Omos was a great presence, and I was hoping to see that, to see what was going to happen. And I was impressed when he ran, though. I was hoping he was going to be a little quicker. He did a backbreaker on Kofi at one stage, which I thought is a little bit off. I don't know if he's ready yet. Maybe, I don't know. I just thought that I was going to see a little bit more. Maybe I was a little overexcited about what I was going to see. But I thought the finish was fantastic. It was brutal. Picked him right up, nearly 8 feet in the air, slammed him straight down, and they won the tag team titles. But again, I went on the rant earlier about throwing together tag teams. How does a tag team get a title shot having never teamed together before? And how does the former champions never get a rematch? I just think that's a bit odd. But anyway, enough from me. Let's see the thoughts of one Bay Ragni.
Yeah. Now I know who New Day is. I've heard of them. Never actually saw them work. I thought like great workers. I thought they were over huge with the crowd. AJ, I know AJ. I've actually spent time with AJ personally years and years back when he was still doing indies. Omos, like I thought to myself, first off, this dude is a monster. But you know, I guess they chose to go with this guy over the Giant, Paul White, who, you know, they was their boy for so many years. I was felt very weird about that. And I also thought to myself, like, Omos looks like he's going out to the club or something, the way they got him dressed, or like he's a bouncer at a club. I don't like the look. And you can tell, like, they put AJ with this guy to cover up for him. So I felt bad for AJ there. And the thing that was driving me crazy too, like, you know, the New Day's beating on AJ, and AJ keeps trying to make the tag. Omos is 7'3". All he's got to do is lean in,
Range
and he can
throw.
make the tag.
Reach to the
And
middle of the ring.
he's standing there like a tree,
Yeah.
like with his arm out. Like, I'm like, come on, like you're not even like making an effort. So then I'm thinking to myself, is there going to be a turn here? What's going on?
Yeah,
Or is
that's
this
what I
guy just
thought,
that
yeah.
green? Like, so, and then when they put the belts on him, I was just like, wow. I didn't like it at all. I felt really bad for AJ. Even New Day, I felt bad for, because I thought sadly when you have a monster like that, very rare, can that person really end up working good? Paul White was that rare thing where he could, get in there and really work with your normal size guys. So I don't know. I kept thinking to myself, anybody remember the Giant Gonzalez?
Yeah.
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 Yep.
Okay, I've got to throw it over to Luke.
All right. So I feel like I'm contrasting all the other opinions because I actually really liked this one.
Hey, I like the match too.
Oh no, but I was actually really impressed with it because when it comes to tag teams, you don't have the face team being the 2-on-1. That doesn't happen often because of the fact that it kind of muddies the waters a little bit. You can't really give the faces the 2-on-1 advantage, but the way they presented it, and this is where I was kind of disagreeing a lot with what you were saying, Carl, is that they presented it in the way that New Day were overconfident. They're 11-time tag team champs. Woods is saying the entire time, this is tag team wrestling, you're not a tag team wrestler. Cutting the ring off, all that kind of stuff, but they were in control the entire time, and while still being cheered by the fans, made it a 2-against-1 situation that people could get behind. It was a really rare dynamic that you don't see a lot. I've seen a lot of them. I've seen a lot of them get fucked up a lot when they try to do the faces being the advantage. It doesn't work often. So it was a lot of credit for this one for getting that over. They were really smart with Omos. Omos, however you pronounce it. Omos, there you go. Keeping him as limited as possible. Obviously, the running thing I agree with. I wish it was a bit faster. Backbreak at the Kofi Kingston one again, I agree, a little bit messy, but
it was very backyard wrestling.
Yeah, but the thing is, because he hasn't had many matches, he's had a couple of NXT ones for live audiences. Then he came up to Raw to do the spot with Shane McMahon. He hasn't done a lot of in-ring stuff. So they limited him to what he needed to do, and the stuff that he did for the better part was good. So I didn't expect them to drop the titles. I was pretty certain that New Day would find a way to win. They're throwing all their eggs in the basket, and if there's a combination that I didn't think would work but is working really well, it is AJ and Omos. They're a good pairing that shouldn't work by just when you first look at them, but they do work really well together. So I was really happy with it. I was really happy with the way that the New Day were reacting terrified, even though the fact that they were 11-time champs. They've got all the experience in the world. They were overconfident, and they got their asses handed to them because of it. So I enjoyed it.
Very good. Jack?
First of all, no, is what I think when I see the New Day. Seriously. Like, it's been 7 years at this point.
Oh, shit.
5 years ago, I liked them. But at this point in 2021, like, it just needs to fucking just... It's time, boys. It's time.
The trombone and shit, it's just like...
That was annoying from the start, though, but...
Francesca.
And them dancing to fucking, AJ's music, and like, just, you're about to go in a fight against these guys, but instead they're fucking smiling and laughing and joking around with each other and fucking... Like, just looking like they're just about to have some fun in the ring. Like, it's just, it's... Yeah. How am I meant to take this seriously anymore when you've got, like, these guys fucking acting like that in the ring before a match? Especially against someone like fucking Omos and AJ Styles. Omos is fucking huge. I'm just going to say that. Like, I think that's just the most simple way to put it. I fucking love him. I think he's probably one of the best big men in a long time to come through. Better than Braun Strowman already, in my opinion.
He's just had one match.
I know. I just love him, bro. I just love him. I just
Very
love it.
astute observation. Yeah.
The best
you
big
can
man to
just-
come through.
No, not the best big
No,
man
one
all
of.
the time, but like, yeah, but he can fucking move, man. For someone his size, like, come on. He also makes the belt look like a fucking toy, so
Yeah.
that was also great. No, overall, the match was pretty fun. It was okay, just a bit of fun. Phenomenal forearm of Foremost was sick, and he won with a one-footed pin. So I bet Scott Phipps would be very happy with that. But
Yeah.
Scotty Phipps.
DJ, your thoughts on the match?
Yeah, well, you know, I had a mostly positive view of it, but it's a bit of a mixed bag. So first of all, I mean, New Day may be a popular act with the fans just because they're known, and at this point, they're one of the few acts in the company that's been consistently used in the same way and in the correct way. But it's still just tiddlywinks with the fuck around gang. You're trying to build almost as this subliminal threat that's waiting in the wings. You've got him coming, walking out there with AJ Styles every week for months, never saying anything, never doing anything. He just stands there. But he's in the background in all these shots while you see AJ doing his thing with the New Day. You're supposed to be thinking to yourself, shit, what's going to happen when this guy gets into the ring? So I like it in the fact that I feel that even if he's not a great wrestler now, then you can't really have anyone better to learn from than AJ Styles. You know, he's not going to be able to do the same kind of stuff that AJ does probably at his size, but you're going to learn things like timing and different, just all the little nuances that an experienced wrestler like AJ knows about and can take advantage of, and he can hopefully almost will be able to soak that in by being paired with AJ. As far as how they actually used him in the match, I loved the fact that they actually built to tagging Almost in, and that by the time they did, they were like, oh shit, we don't want to tag him in. The problem with that is you just fucking fucked around for like the you know, all the entrance and all the promos beforehand and acted like you didn't give a shit. And so now you're making yourselves look foolish by like suddenly being worried about it now that you're like, oh wait, I actually will have to get in the ring with him. Wouldn't have thought an experienced wrestler and a former WWE champion would be able to make a tag in a tag match. Now what are we going to do? Like, it's just, so that was a bit stupid to me. Yeah, I agree that Almost is probably a guy that they've seen his look and his size and they've gone, we want to put this guy on TV, and he'll hopefully catch on the same way that Diesel did when we stuck him out there with Shawn Michaels, you know, or Nathan Jones when we stuck him out there with Undertaker. Look how that worked out, you know. I think that that's their plan. I think that I actually was fine with what I saw because honestly, I expected it to just be, you know, splash in the corner, sidewalk slam, backbreaker, spine buster. I knew they were going to keep it that way. I do think that the backbreaker was unnecessary. If he can't smoothly drop down to one knee and land him on it, then just don't do it. You know, they could have just not done that. They could have done something else in its place. There's a million different moves.
I was expecting a sidewalk slam because he held him for so long, and then he just kind of dropped him on his knee on an angle.
So yeah, that particular individual move did expose him a bit, but overall, I think that if they actually don't stick this guy in the ring every single week, it could work. You know, just have them walking around with the belts and have, you know, just not defending it, trying to weasel out of defending it, and just, you know, keep doing what they were doing with Almost. You don't need to have him in the ring every week now. He can go back to just training behind the scenes until he's polished a bit more. Everyone's got a little taste. Now, the next time he has a proper match, hopefully he'll have had a bit more time in the ring by then.
Absolutely, bro.
And,
absolutely.
Yeah, I also agree with all of you guys that it's dumb to have them just randomly win the belts. And the thing with him not leaning in when he was going for the tag and stuff, I felt not only was that kind of silly looking, but to me that also exposed that they've obviously told this guy, oh, we want you to hold your hand out for the tag and he won't be able to reach it. Then they haven't given him any other information other than that, or else he would have been able to naturally lean a bit further in. You know, he's clearly someone that's been really taken through it step by step by step by step.
Yeah.
Just to get what they got out of him there. So I really hope they don't rush too much with him.
Yeah.
I think they could get something out of him if they play their cards right.
Very good, bro. Time to move on to Braun versus Shane McMahon in the cage match. This was interesting. Bay Ragni, let's hear your thoughts on this one.
The funny thing is when you first approached me about doing this was the match that I really wanted to see. This was the reason why I chose to do night one.
Right.
So the thing that because everybody wants to see what is Shane going to do this year, what's going to be the big thing, but then Shane has become truly, I got to give the guy credit. He's become, one of the best workers in wrestling. You know what I mean? Like he's impressed me over the years by stepping in the ring. Let's face it, he doesn't have to. He could, be a role like his father and do that, but he gets in there and does these death-defying things where he could be breaking his neck. And he was in there with Strowman, who, I mean, let's face it, is a monster. And it was good to see, he was laying the chair shots in. He wasn't scared to hit him with the chairs. He was laying everything in. Everything looked solid, but I thought the match just didn't really work. I wasn't impressed with it. There was at one point, Shane was punching Strowman, or no, I'm sorry, Strowman was punching Shane, and Lawler says that would knock out the ordinary man, but not Shane McMahon. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? Like, if Strowman really hit Shane should be out cold. I'm just like, okay, what the hell is Lawler doing? But the one thing that really, that I kept thinking to myself, and actually had me worried, like, I was worried for Shane. Didn't look good to me. He looked like he was going to have a heart attack at any minute. Like his face looked really red. He looked very puffy and bloated, like he's retaining fluid. Something's going on, and I was actually worried. I'm like, this guy's gonna, like, his heart's gonna explode in the middle of this match. I like how they pulled the cage apart. I loved that. I thought that was really a cool thing. But I thought the finish was very just weak. I mean, there was really nothing they could do, and I just thought it was a lame, weak finish. So I didn't like the match. I was really disappointed in
it. Jack.
First of all, I just want to say 4-man commentary teams are far too much. I know that's contradicting because we're the Four Orsemen, but 4-man commentary teams in professional wrestling are just a bit too much. I don't know why they did it for this match. Was there any reason for it? Does anyone know?
No,
Probably
but they had
to get Law out there.
They had a couple of those where they just had the special guest commentator, but they didn't replace anyone. They just added someone on top of it. It happened like 2 or 3 times. It didn't make any sense any of the times. So
could have replaced Byron one time and could have replaced Joe the second time.
Replaced Byron both times.
I feel like this match was just such a letdown overall. I was just tuning in and out of this match. I found of course, as Bay just mentioned, the tearing apart of the cage was fucking awesome. That's something you never see in cage matches. You never see that today. I don't think you've ever really seen that ever. I mean, it's probably been done a couple of times, but that was great. Shane fucking died getting thrown off the cage. Another, of course, just staple Shane bump of any WrestleMania that he's in has to happen, has to do a big bump. I'm assuming the cage match is the only reason they did the him wanting to do a big bump is the only reason they did a fucking cage match. Shane had to get big spots in. Yeah. Also, Braun missed out on a potential WrestleMania moment by diving off the cage. That would have been fun.
That was not gonna happen.
Why?
I was expecting that, and I was disappointed it didn't happen.
It should have happened, man. Like, I was fucking
dives off
killed him.
I mean, he's a heavy dude, so he probably injured himself. So he did the right thing by not doing it. But fucking for the visual, even if you fucking end up fucking getting in the hospital for 9 months after, so be it. And of course, I have a note here. I have a note here saying Braun's yearly lesson for the kids with a smiley face. Don't exactly know what that is, but I'm assuming it's something to do with the kids.
It's the whole if you've ever been bullied, this is for you. Whatever it was he was going on about.
I can't remember what it is. But is Shane McMahon the heel?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fucking
It completely. The first time it's realized.
Hang on a sec. Hang on. What do you think you've been watching? Like, what do you think that you watched?
I literally just said
today?
I was tuned in and out of that match. So
Oh God, you've been a real help.
That's
here,
three.
too.
That's
Luke,
three so
Luke,
far.
No, that's four. Luke,
Is it four?
you're up.
All right.
You know, the
Sorry.
door in your background has contributed. No, I'm joking, man. I'm joking.
It's my
But,
turn.
yeah, all right.
My turn.
No, fair enough. Fair enough with the fucking. Hang on. But how come you didn't realize that Shane was the heel though? It was.
I haven't watched the product, man.
Oh, you didn't see any of the...
DJ, please.
No,
This is
I'll-
spiraling out of control. Luke.
No. Okay, all right.
I watched WrestleMania. I just don't watch the product on a regular basis.
I don't watch the product on a regular basis, and I knew who the heel was. Luke, your turn.
Thank you. I didn't go into this match with high expectations, and thankfully, I was correct. It wasn't anything special. However, I do want to point out the start of the match with Elias and Riker with the chairs. Good way to even the odds because it didn't make sense that Shane would actually agree to this match. He goes, you can have whatever match you want. Why would you with a guy that's twice, if not three times your size? So that tied up the loose ends there. Nicely done. Tries to escape the cage for the first time, drops the chair. Okay, now you're in a predicament. Otherwise, everything else is pretty bad. The cage wall thing was great. I haven't seen it happen before. So that was a nice little moment. I really did not like the cage toss though, because why would Strowman lift his opponent up to a position where he could just quickly jump down off the cage wall? Why would you get him into a position that's going to potentially benefit him more? You could easily just have Shane get dragged in, Shane quickly get an elbow or a boot in or something like that, and try to scale the cage before getting caught by Strowman. But that just looks stupid because now he's lifted him up. Strowman has to slowly get his way up because he's a bigger guy. He gets his way up there. Shane's groggy for 30 to 45 seconds. Like, so many things could have just been tidied up to make it more enjoyable. For him to throw him off and then talk to the crowd that could barely hear him anyway, like half of them, maybe a quarter of them popped because of it. And Braun Strowman shouldn't be a star gimmick anyway, because up until this point, his character has been a bully. His character has literally been bullying people. He attacked Roman Reigns for 30 minutes because he wasn't finished with him. He just tossed him around in an ambulance and shit like that. He was already on a stretcher. Like, that's bullying. That's blatant bullying. So why is he now standing up for all the people that have been bullied in the world because he's been called stupid?
He's a new Big Show, bro. They'll flip him heel and baby.
It's just
400 times before his career's over.
You can't try to get over a guy to not be a bully when, one, he's bullied people in his career previously, and two, he just seems like the guy that would be a douchebag in real life. I've heard he's a nice guy, but when you look at him and you hear him talk and he just seems he radiates douchebag energy. So I'm not going to buy him as a guy that's not like, he's a bully. He looks like a stereotypical bully. Shane McMahon does not look like a bully in this situation. But it was what I expected, which was a bit of a pointless match. Gave Shane a bump. Whatever.
Juicy boy.
Yeah, to be honest, Jack hit the nail on the head with what he said, and like, even though we made a bit of fun before, the fact that he sort of wasn't sure who the heel was isn't really a surprise because, like we were saying, it just no, I know that, but it doesn't really makes sense that a guy Braun's size and just who he is and energy that radiates off of him. It doesn't make a lot of sense that he would be the baby face that's fighting against a big bully. I also agree with Bay that Shane did not look healthy when he first came back in 2013. The first couple of years, he looked good. I thought, all right, he's fit, he's in shape. At the moment, it looks like Vince McMahon has been put into a microwave for 2.5 minutes, and it's just like he's just, on the verge. He's constantly puffed up red, and I also not just in this match specifically, but over the last few months when I've been seeing him, it just looks like, oh, this guy doesn't need to be, in doing these big matches and stuff at the moment. But as far as the actual match itself, it was just kind of there for me. I didn't really have a lot of interest in it coming in, other than that I knew it was going to be a spectacle. I agree with Jack that the cage match stipulation was just there so that Shane could jump off of it. I thought that the tearing of the cage wall was brilliant. I haven't seen anything like that since Kane pulled the door off of the Hell in a Cell back in '97, and it put over Braun's strength and power. To be honest though, like where he got thrown off the top, to me it just sort of looked like Braun kind of put his hand on him and then moved his arm forward, and then Shane just did a somersault off the cage and took the bump. And it's like, okay, so that's a big bump physically, but it's not really a big move. It's not a payoff to a big story. Like, the hardcore title match at SummerSlam 2001, when Shane climbs up that big thing and gets hit with the kendo stick and then falls all the way down. That was foreshadowed in previous matches where he'd climb up the same scaffolding and then he'd won matches by jumping off of there. So it makes sense that he would climb up there to try it again, which is why it made sense when he got thwarted at that attempt. In this match here, was none of that kind of reasoning for it. They got up on top of the cage. Everyone knew it was going to happen. And then Shane took a big bump off of there. And, cool, impressive. Was dangerous looking. But the whole match to me just really didn't belong on WrestleMania. I didn't really feel like it was, as far as the story, I'm saying. I'm not really criticizing the guys involved. Just storyline wise, I didn't think that it was firing on all cylinders.
Fair enough, bro. Before we move on, sorry, Luke.
Just quickly before we do move on as well, a big pop for the accidental unprotected chair shot to the head that was pretty early. Just an accidental headshot, and was why were you swinging for the head anyway? If you're gonna, he's the boss's son, so he may not cop a fine for it, but it was brilliant. I loved seeing a chair shot to the head, but I just wanted to point that one out. That was a good pop from me.
So before we move on to the next one, I'll throw my 2 cents. The build up for the match, or the prior promo to the match, weak. Carbon copy of Nia Jax and Alexa Bliss, with Alexa making fun of her being fat. This time it's about Braun being stupid. It's just so juvenile. I get it's an angle for children. I get there's a PG show, but yeah. And then of course when he dumped the Nickelodeon gack on Strowman as well, I was like, this can't get any more childish. But
gack.
I was happy it was a cage match, because then you're not going to hear the choo-choo train sound effects with Braun running around the ring. So I knew that at least that wouldn't happen. I was happy to see Lawler on commentary. And I was happy with the beginning of the match. They found a way to even the odds. But it was glaring. Yes, there was an accidental headshot, but it was glaring to see him having to try and avoid hitting him in the head. He's hitting him in the gut. He's hitting him in the back. Braun's standing up. Then he has to bend back down so Shane could hit him in the back again. Like it was glaring to me. You have to avoid the headshots at all costs, which, look, it's good that that's not happening anymore because of concussions and all that stuff. But it does hurt the psychology of someone holding a weapon and someone standing right in front of you, and you hit them in the gut so they bend over so you can hit them in the back. It annoys me a little bit, but it is what it is.
So what you're saying is there's no more headshots with chairs?
No one's allowed to get hit in the head with anything like that anymore. So it's always going to be a hit to the gut with the chair.
Been about 10 years now that they've been doing that for.
Since the Benoit.
Since about 2011.
Oh, really? Way before that, man. Way before.
Even before that.
After the whole Benoit situation, they really had to focus on concussions and what they can actually do to you. So,
it still happened in wrestling, but WWE stopped at that point. I believe TNA was still doing shots to the head with chairs.
And then AEW tried bringing it back, and it failed miserably because someone got injured.
Yeah. So anyway, Johnny, sidebar.
Sorry.
I think that was DJ's fault actually, but
Danny's side.
I wanted to say also, as this match was going on earlier, I was like, "Oh, this has the potential to be boring." I'm not into this one. And then I thought when Elias and I can't remember the other guy's name, but
Jackson Riker.
Cool. When they tried to interfere again, I thought to myself, Elias is being wasted beyond belief. This is a very good performer right there, and he's not even on the show. He's just Shane's bitch boy, and yeah, I don't know. I just thought, man, like this guy really could have a future if they actually decided to do something with him for once.
And before you move on from there, how quickly did it take? I know. How quickly did it take?
Oh my god!
How quickly?
It's midnight.
How quickly did it take Jackson Riker and Elias to climb up the steel cage? But how long did it take for Shane McMahon and Braun Strowman to try to climb up their side?
Yeah, good point, bro. Good point. Loved it. Braun ripping the cage and pulling Shane in. Yes, guys, I can confirm that as a first. That has never happened. It was a brilliant idea. That was the only thing that really perked my interest. The flip bump from the top was fucking insane, obviously, but as you've all pointed out, kind of weird in this whole scheme of things. And of course, Braun screaming to the crowd, "This is for anyone who was ever called stupid." I'm just like, shut up, Braun. You are stupid.
That's the yearly lesson for all the kids. That's probably what I wrote. That's probably why I wrote that note. That's probably why I wrote that note.
And I just thought, like, yeah, it was okay. The rip of the cage is what saved it from being boring in completion for me. Like, because that was just so interesting. But God, it just was, like, and honestly, like with everything I've said so far, at this point, I would say, man, I'm enjoying WrestleMania right now. I was really enjoying it at that point, and this was like a bump in the road. So anyway, after this, I'm just gonna list off a bunch of random shit that happened, one after another, and when I'm done, if anyone wants to put their hand up and say something, go for it. Okay. I found the adverts are way over the fucking top. People have paid for the network, paid for Peacock to see this shit. Why are there so many adverts? The music that they play at Mania now, and look, I'm not saying anything. Some words evolve, okay? But the music that they play is just so fucking gay, man. What happened to rock and roll and metal, bro? What happened to rock and roll and metal being in wrestling? It's just this crap music.
It's the weekend.
Whatever.
Save your tears for another day.
Man.
I can't wait for my weekday.
Oh man,
I just can't stand the music. This auto-tune shit. Like, whatever happened to Limp Bizkit and just some
Saliva,
hard rock,
bro?
man, just some Saliva.
Oh man,
just disgusting hard rock. That's what I want. I don't want
Drowning Pool.
Yeah,
The
love all that
X's are puddle of mud.
Get you in the
Very
mood.
good, DJ. It does. Not this like sweet, cute music. Anyway, Bailey rocks up at the announcer's table. She's insufferable and funny at the same time, I found. There's a Hall of Fame segment. Nice touch. My home girl, Georgia Smith, who we had on the podcast, the Insider's Edge podcast, was on the show there. So that was nice. And I think that might be the last time we ever hear the NWO theme at a WWE event. Stone Cold does a little promo for WrestleMania 38, which goes to show that some people still have more charisma than a lot of people going on in the roster today. Does anyone want to say anything about what I've just mentioned?
Literally a 5-second point for me. Just really weird seeing Titus O'Neil classed as a 2020 Hall of Fame inductee of sorts. But I mean, props to him. He's done all the work that he can do. But just weird seeing him stand next to fucking the NWO and fucking all these huge names, and you got Titus O'Neil standing in the corner with his little trophy, just like
Titus O'Neil, who never got to the prime of his career with wrestling. And he's got this Hall of Fame award, and everyone's like, "Why does he get to be in it?" And he's like still a young man.
Yeah.
Again, I was going, who is Titus O'Neil?
He was his highlights in WWE include a one or two tag title reigns, and getting suspended by Vince McMahon for playing around with him during Daniel Bryan's retirement speech. He got suspended for 60 months for touching his arm. 60 days. 60 months.
60 months?
60
Good God,
days.
he should
Titus
be-
O'Neil, by the way, is actually 50 years old. He started his
Are you fucking kidding me?
he started his wrestling
What?
career at age
No, I'm
like
Googling it
35.
because-
I'm on a two. I'm on a two.
All right.
All right, you know what? It may not be 50, but he's definitely
Oh, no,
43, 43,
You're not
43.
getting away with that shit. He's 50 years old like it's a fact. Fuck
okay,
you.
I thought
You're
it
not
was
getting
50.
away with that 50 years old. 7 years off, mate.
The point is, he's a fucking older guy.
Nah,
it's not like he's
nah.
25. Like,
Read my sign
right.
language. Fuck you.
Fuck
He's actually
you.
50 years old.
All right.
Actually.
all right, Jack wants to move on. Let's
All
move.
right.
Let's
Man,
move.
Yeah,
it's
all
fucking
right,
midnight.
yeah.
I got work in 6 hours. Let's go.
All right,
go.
baby boy. We're moving on to Bad Bunny, Damian Priest taking on Miz and Morrison. Okay, this is an interesting one because when it popped up, I said, oh, fuck, I forgot Bad Bunny as a match. Oh, God, but I'll get to my point when it's my turn. I'm going to go to Bay Ragni, wrestling legend right here. Please let me know, Bay, what you thought of Bad Bunny's WrestleMania debut.
So I had no idea. I've been seeing people posted about Bad Bunny for the last, I guess, couple of months or whatever it's been, and I'm like, what the hell is a Bad Bunny? Like, I have no idea what Bad Bunny is. All the bunnies coming down to the ring before the match. I was saying to myself, there goes all the local indie workers in Tampa in bunny costumes. I thought the match was really, really friggin' good. And I thought Bunny was amazing. And this was a great match. I mean, this could have actually been like the opening match because it had the the excitement. It was a great match. When John Morrison did the Spinaroonie, I thought to myself, oh, Booker T is going to interfere here for
so
Bunny.
did I. Yeah.
I thought that would have been a nice setup, but Bunny, whoever this Bad Bunny is, he's somebody, and he's somebody in wrestling. He deserved to be there. He was freaking awesome. I love the match.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, bro. Like going into this match, I was looking to hate it because I hate the celebrity kind of involvement thing. You know, I'm looking to be mad about it, and I'm going next, by the way, guys. So when the rabbits came out, I said, whose fucking stupid idea was this? This is terrible. Miz and Morrison come out and they're doing their rap, and I'm like, surely afterward they must have laughed about how fucking stupid this shit can be sometimes. And then when they're in the ring and the bunnies are jumping up and down, and I was like, I want somebody to bash these rabbits' heads in. This is where you bring back Lesnar. This is where Brock Lesnar comes back. Okay. Miz and Morrison power to the outside, and he just kills all of them, gets the biggest pop of the night. I hated the rabbits. So this is in my notes, okay? And this is funny because you can see how things change with me as I'm watching the match, okay? So the first thing I've written is Bad Bunny can suck my dick as he's making his entrance. I said the story. I'm like, the storyline sucks from the outset. Damian Priest's outfit looks like something that you wear at a Mardi Gras. Bad Bunny gets an epic entrance, but Cesaro has to give me a seizure instead. Why doesn't Cesaro get an epic entrance? Why does it have to go to Bad Bunny? What this WrestleMania is missing is a bloodbath. Where's my hardcore? Where's my table spots? Where's my barbed wire and thumbtacks? We're missing something that's just going to make me like really buy into something here. You know, I'm getting mad at this big elaborate entrance, obviously. Then he's making this long entrance, and I'm like, why doesn't Miz and Morrison just jump Priest and beat the fuck out of him? Because he's taken forever to get there. Okay, he's going to start off the match, and I've written down, here's his one chance to get my respect. He's so small that his worst opponent could be a gust of wind right now. The match takes place, and I'm like thinking to myself, the Miz is all class, man. He's all class, but Bad Bunny keeps doing one thing after another and after another after another, and I'm like, no, you're not gonna turn me on this, bro. I don't like you. Then he locked in the Maestro cradle for a pinfall attempt. And I said, are you kidding me? Well done, dude. Well done. Then he does the head scissors takedown. And I said, fuck off with this shit. A head scissors takedown? He's already, at this point, he's already done better than Snooki and Jay Leno. Okay. The Spinneroonie, yes, as I was going to say, I thought Booker might get involved, but I did like it. I love the trash talk from Miz and Morrison in comparison to Xavier Woods. I liked it. I like the talking of shit during matches. I think it's good. My favorite part of the match, the Miz takes a tornado DDT, and the way that he sold it, standing up, staring straight at the camera, I laughed my fucking ass off. It was so over the top, but Miz was killing me with his facial expressions in this match. Just killing me. When Bunny jumped off the top rope to the outside and Cole said, "Bunnies fly," I wrote, "Fuck up, Cole." And then when he hit the Canadian Destroyer, Miz, again with the facial expressions, just ruined me. Perfect. So happy with that. The finish of the match took place. I just said, fucking hell, that was ridiculous. But Bad Bunny, you won me over, bro. You did really well. Props to you, man. 2 thumbs up to Bad Bunny and one of the best celebrity appearances in wrestling, even though I never knew who he was before he showed up in WWE. Let me scroll back up to see who's next. It is time for Jack's thoughts. Jack, did you see that?
I did see this match, and I'm going to go and just straight away and say this is my match of the night. By far. By so far, it's not even funny. This match was the best match of the night, and I was so surprised by it. Fuck the bunnies, first of all. Just fuck all those rabbits. It reminds me of Adam Rose's Rosebud Bunny from back in the day. Like
they were all the same. They were all the same. That bunny outfit, yeah.
Some of those rabbits only had one ear as well.
They kept falling off during the entrance. I watched.
Really?
There was ears. There were ears and tails. They kept falling off and they bounced around. They just kept bouncing. You notice half of them were holding their mask down like that as they're bouncing around, trying to keep everything together.
Yeah. That seamstress must have got into a hell of a lot of trouble afterward.
All right, Mr. 55.
No.
I feel like the entrance from Miz and Morrison also saved the bunnies, so maybe not so much fuck the bunnies. Bad Bunny's entrance was fun, but it also, don't you guys think it makes Damian Priest look like such a fuckhead? Like,
why didn't he get to be a part of the entrance with him?
Yeah,
put him on the truck as well.
Damian Priest, fucking no sidebars. Fuck off. Damian Priest gets to fucking, just get a normal entrance, like a, 20, 30-second entrance. Then Bad Bunny gets this elaborate 5-minute fucking on top of this truck entrance, like crazy shit that would have cost like hundreds of thousands of dollars to produce. And it just like, isn't Damian Priest the wrestler here? And yet, and here we are with Bad Bunny just like getting this crazy entrance, and Damian Priest is looking like a little cock.
Just standing in the ring for 4 minutes whilst Miz and Morrison aren't doing anything. Yep.
Just looks a bit silly, but that's just me. I feel like Damian Priest could have entered with Bad Bunny. Like, Priest could have been on that truck with him.
Good call, bro.
Bad Bunny he was very, very impressive in the ring. I feel like he was one of the better Mania celebrity performances, if not probably one of the best ones. However, I did notice he got blown up seriously early, and he struggled to kind of work that back in for the rest of the match. But luckily, Miz and Morrison are absolute fucking pros.
They're pros, man. Yeah.
So, it's all good. Bad Bunny hitting a Falcon Arrow surprised me. Obviously, the Canadian Destroyer popped me. It was fucking dumb.
That was insane.
This was such a better match than I thought it could be. Miz and Morrison should have won, in my opinion, but it's also, at the end of the day, I can't believe it got my match of the night. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. Unbelievable. DJ, your thoughts?
Unbelievable.
Yeah, so what I really liked throughout this whole thing was that Miz and Morrison's reactions to Bad Bunny as characters mirrored what the audience is thinking when they, get surprised by a celebrity that comes out and actually kind of holds himself really quite well. Like the first thing, agreed with, Jack, that the entrance was impressive, and I sort of thought that it was definitely better than the truck thing that they did before Sting and Darby Allin's match at fucking, the pay-per-view before. But I thought it was impressive, but it overshadowed Damian Priest, who's going to be there next week and next month and is actually on the show. And if Damian Priest was going into his second WrestleMania match, then it wouldn't matter as much, for him to be overshadowed. But because it's his WrestleMania debut as well, I just thought, why not incorporate Damian Priest in that too, or give him a little something special too, so that it's not all about, oh, hey, let's watch Bad Bunny try and wrestle, and there's these other guys here as well. As far as the match itself, Bad Bunny obviously took it seriously. Obviously, it really felt like Miz and Morrison were just leading the match really well. I assume that they were obviously, a large part in charge of kind of setting out the pace and laying out how it was going to go. And I think they did a tremendous job. The facial expressions, the stunned facial expressions when Bad Bunny hit that Canadian Destroyer, just every little touches like that really made this thing a fun, celebrity match that actually has a place on the show. It sort of embodies what WrestleMania is meant to be about, which is like a fun, extravaganza that's flashy and everything. So that's what this was. And yeah, Bad Bunny, I think, has set the tone for set the bar for celebrities that are actually going to wrestle in the future, because the variety of stuff that he did and the fact that everything looked nice and tight and laid in properly. So he was doing it. He'd been taught how to do it properly and wasn't half-assing it. And yeah, I thought it was tremendous.
Luke.
Yeah, there's a few things I really did. I mentioned earlier how Cesaro and Seth was the wrestling perspective match of the night. As an overall entertainment point of view, this was the match of the night that everyone was invested in, not only in terms of the crowd being, it was a pretty dominant love for Bad Bunny. As soon as the theme song and the entrance was happening, they went nuts for him. But overall, the most entertaining match of the night for sure. Damian Priest looked like he was really comfortable for his first Mania. He looked really comfortable coming out to his theme song, just dancing along with it. It was just literally just enjoying himself. So that was good in that sense. Miz and Morrison carried the match the entire time. And this is also where there's a key difference between celebrities that are in WWE to get a paycheck and then celebrities that are fans of the product, because the people that have watched the product, the celebrities that have watched it, they may not have as much training as obviously other people may have, but they have watched it enough to know what they will be doing in a match. They know that you're selling a body part and your facial expressions and stuff like that. Bad Bunny hasn't had a lot of training, but because of his previous years of watching it, a lot of this stuff came kind of naturally because of previous, studying it almost without even knowing it. You've got guys like previous celebrities, like Seth Green from Family Guy, whatever he was. He was just kind of there. He didn't know what he was doing. He was kind of taunting and stuff like that back in 2006. Bad Bunny knew that he had to actually sell during a match because he's watched it his entire life. Miz and Morrison, consummate professionals, but you could tell that Bad Bunny was inexperienced. A couple of collisions with the ropes. He took a kneeling DDT from the Miz and didn't protect himself. I was really concerned at that. I don't know if you guys watched it. He took the DDT, didn't put his hands up or anything. So he just went head first into the ground. And I was like, okay, that's probably a concussion. But he survived it pretty well. The Bunny Destroyer, as they called it, annoying name, but sick moment. All in all, really good. He knew what he had to do as a celebrity, and he impressed everyone that watched it. Damian Priest looked good, apart from the attire, which was just weird and a mess. Miz and Morrison proving why they are as legit of wrestlers as you can ask for, especially considering the Miz is a former reality TV star that no one liked. It was a really good match, the complete dark horse of the entire show that ended up being the match of the night. So I was more than happy with it.
Wonderful, bro. Okay, We're finally there, guys. It's time to get to the main event of the evening, WWE Women's Championship. Bianca Belair taking on Sasha Banks, the champion. DJ, I want to give you the floor. I gave you the floor for the first match, and I'm giving you the floor for the last match.
The dark match.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm this far into a bottle of red, so
Yeah.
DJ, please take the floor, my friend.
Yeah. Well, I like the idea of having more of the women's matches in main events, but I said yesterday on the Simulation podcast that I didn't feel like this match had been built enough to be in the main event spot. And then the match actually happened, and it was one of the best women's matches I've ever seen. And I say that not because it was Bayley versus Sasha at TakeOver that year, and it was like this technical masterpiece. What I liked about it was that you've got Sasha Banks, the boss. She's the alpha female. She thinks of herself as the alpha female in WWE. Well, Bianca Belair's just arrived on the scene, and she thinks she's the alpha female in WWE. And you've got these two very strong personalities that are clashing, and there's only room for one of them, and only one of them can be champion. And so just that alone, that whole energy that was throughout the match really started grabbing me in, and I was very pleasantly surprised. And this may have even been my match of the night. The raw power that was shown by Bianca. First of all, Bianca Belair looked incredibly just comfortable and natural in that spot, even though she's only been on. She came onto TV in October of last year, and now she's main eventing WrestleMania. And it felt like she'd been on WrestleMania 2 or 3 or 4 times before. She seemed very at ease in that environment, and the displays of power, the stepping up military press and then walking up the steps and throwing her back in, and all different things like that. Just incredible power. And I remember at one point, I can't remember which one of the ladies did it, but there was that double jump tornado DDT that looked incredible.
Sasha. Sasha.
That was incredible. Psychology-wise, the fact that they used Bianca Belair's hair not just once, but over and over again, I was like, brilliant. Because the first thing that I thought when I saw Bianca Belair, I was like, how is that practical to have a braid that's that long that you're going to wrestle with? That is an immediate target. That's like wrestling with a cast on one of your legs. And then here it is. She ruthlessly used it to her advantage. She used it to help her lock in the bank statement. She used it to choke her. She used it to do all kinds of things. Used it against her. Made her regret the fact that she came into the match with it on. And I like little touches like that show, okay, Sasha's actually been studying up on who this girl is while she's been in NXT. And I thought that the pacing of it went really well. It didn't overstay its welcome, but it didn't feel like they shortchanged him on the time either. It didn't really feel like, they're rushing it or anything. It just felt like everything kind of unfolded at the right time and at the right moments. And there were some tremendous counters. I think the pendulum story that the match had, where it was going, 1 minute it would be Bianca's in charge, and then the next minute Sasha's in control. It was a real, genuinely actually managed to get me thinking, I don't know who's going to win this thing, but I think either of them would be deserving of it. And I love matches like that where I can just really get into it and be like, wow, what an accomplishment, what a moment this must be for these two people. And yeah, I hardly knew much about Bianca Belair before this match, but now she's probably going to be one of my favorite female wrestlers because I've been impressed. I watched these two people go out there and just really show me why they deserved that main event spot on night one. I loved it, guys.
Excellent. Bay Ragni, what were your thoughts on the main event of the first night of WrestleMania 37?
I'll tell you what, he touched on so many things that I was thinking and going to say too. I was texting with a buddy of mine during the show, and he was telling me, he's still involved in the business and has some ties to WWE, and he was telling me from what he was told, these two really had to fight to get this main event. They didn't want to give it to them, and they had to do a lot of fighting and pleading their case to be given this main event. And this was, in my opinion too, I thought this was truly match of the night. They impressed the hell out of me. It made me think, women's wrestling has come so far over the years, especially the last 5-10 years. Back in the day, there was not there wasn't a desire for it. The crowd didn't care about it. It just could never get over. And it was making me think too, like, I wonder what Vince McMahon thinks of women's wrestling now, because he's that old school guy, and he was part of the that pushed the women's wrestling down for so many years, and now it's such a vital, important focus and part of the business. Bianca Belair, I had no idea who she was. Sasha Banks, I heard the name before many times, but I thought the same thing when she came out. I said to myself, if they don't use her hair in that braid, it's a complete disrespect to the history of women's wrestling, because it should be the focal point of the match. Yeah. And I was really happy that they used it. Both of them in almost tears beforehand, I thought was very genuine and a good touch to help put the story of the match in perspective. And I thought they worked their freaking asses off. And truly, a lot of times I popped in my chair during moves and power things they were doing, and my mouth was hitting the floor. And hats off to both of those girls. A standing O from me. They totally brought it. They deserved to have the main event. It was a main event match and match of the night.
Excellent, bro. Love it. Luke, your turn.
I feel like I'm the outlier on this one. I did not enjoy the match clearly as much as you guys did.
What?
Yeah. And it's not necessarily
leave the call now. Leave the call.
It's not. It's let's just. Whoa. No. Look, and it's not a bag on their abilities as wrestlers, because it's not their fault. Obviously a lot of people enjoy this match. It's not their fault that I don't enjoy this match. There's just things that I would have enjoyed more. I've never gotten behind Bianca Belair as a face.
That's very misogynistic.
No, it's not. It's not at all. Not whatsoever. I much enjoyed her work as a heel, and okay, I feel... Yep. For instance, we had the start of the match. Bianca, who won the Royal Rumble, hugely emotional. Now, that was as raw as it gets. There was nothing scripted about that. That was her literally bursting into tears because of the fact that she made it to the main event of WrestleMania. Her first Mania ever was the main event. That's real. That's legitimate. So if I was going into that match, I would have a backup plan, because there's two ways you could have gone about it. You could have held yourself together in that moment and been like, okay, now it's a competitive matchup. Have two setups for that. One, if you compose yourself, you go into your competitive matchup. If you're breaking emotionally when you get there, use that and tie it into the match. Bianca Belair's never been to a Mania before. She's breaking down at the start of the match. Let her inexperienced mind play up throughout the entire match. Have her struggling to think about what the next move should be because she's too caught up in the crowd, too caught up in the moment. Let her get distracted by these things and eventually overcome that to become women's champion.
They already have that match plan in place.
Yeah, but you should have a backup if you start crying on TV because you're in that spot. In my opinion.
Your opinion is wrong.
I know, I'm just a mark. Wrong. I'm just a mark on the internet, but...
you're a skid mark.
A skid mark.
Okay, continue. I'm sorry.
My opinion is... I enjoyed the match as soon as Sasha, quote-unquote, switched gears, is what they announced on commentary. She went into a mean streak. From that point on, I was invested. Up until that point, I didn't really get behind it because Belair was presented as the face, but she's also taunting and saying she's the EST, doing these squats and stuff like that, showboating. You just can't get behind it. But then Sasha switched it. She went full-blown heel, mean streak, into the environment, using that to her advantage. That's when everything switched up again. That's when I really started getting invested. So it wasn't the worst match for me, at least. I enjoyed it after that moment. Really feel good moment to the point that Belair's dad nearly toppled over the barricade.
Yeah.
You could tell, and that was the thing.
Really?
Yeah, he nearly
Really?
face planted. He jumped in excitement so high
Oh,
that he
that's amazing.
toppled over. Security tried stopping him because it looked like he was gonna just jump into the ring, but he was trying to get himself to not fall over the barricade. It was great. The thing is, and
Look back at that. I love that stuff.
it's not. I've not bagged the match. The match was fine. It wasn't a bad match. There was a lot of feel good moments and stuff like that. I feel like there could have been stuff done differently, but certainly wasn't the worst match of the night. So congratulations to Belair. I just hope they don't ruin her, because she does have a lot of potential, but they're rushing her very quickly. And I'm just concerned that they may screw something up big time and she's just going to end up another statistic.
Fair enough. Look, their history as babyface champions has not gone very well at all. So astute point there, Luke. Jack, it's your turn, my friend.
So
Are you
Monet,
making
were-
dinner at this point? Sorry, every time I've made that joke twice now, and Bay has popped both times.
So no, Monet, you are not the outlier here. I also did not enjoy this match.
Oh, another misogynist.
However, I think a little less than you did actually.
Ooh.
First
comes
of
a
all,
hot take.
Trouble
Yeah.
in paradise, huh?
all my shit's going to be a hot take here. So my first point here is that I have written down is, but I will give credit. The suicide dive in the military press back into the ring was very, very, very nice. That was fucking very nice.
That's my least favorite spot of the night.
Oh,
However,
fuck you.
I also just want to add on to that. Sasha should not be doing suicide dives if she needs the ref to help. I strongly believe the referee should not be helping in any spots. The stalling suplexes by Belair to Banks were fucking dope. I will give him that. But that's like the only two good parts of the match that I really, really enjoyed. Like other than that,
I don't know.
feel like it
I
was
can't believe this.
I don't know what you guys watched. I don't.
it just never
I
caught
don't
on for me,
either.
man.
Oh, I
I know,
can't
like-
wait for my turn because I'm going to tear you apart.
You're such
Also,
a
like, why doesn't the ref count 5 for pulling hair? Like, why is this not is that never been a rule for pulling hair? Like, has that never been a thing?
Okay, so you're blaming the ref for the match not being to your taste.
No. It's just a
fault.
question it was just a question I'm asking. Like, why doesn't the ref count 5 for pulling hair? And I noticed that Banks did a lot of that to Belair. I just think there's like a lot of inconsistencies with the referees these days. Sasha Banks has a Scoop Dogg-esque frog splash. She should never do that again if she
Did you
does
say
that.
Scoop Dog?
Snoop Dogg.
You said Scoop Dog, bro. It's
Snoop
Snoop,
Dogg.
Dogg. His name is Snoop Dogg, not Scoop Dog.
She has a very Snoop Dogg-esque frog splash. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't notice that because she didn't land on her feet first, but continue.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Fair. What time is it? It's boss time, shouts Michael Cole. And then I shouted, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, good call. Anytime
Um,
anyone tears him apart, I'm happy.
I don't know, man. Like, just overall, like, yeah, it was a feel-good match. I feel like
Do you feel good? It was a feel good match. You have to feel
it
good.
was a feel-good ending. Like, yeah, it was a feel-good ending to the show. I mean, if you weren't going to have Lashley and Bobby first, I mean, the
Last.
only other choice. Sorry, if you weren't going to have them last, the only other choice is
The other heavyweight championship match. Yep.
exactly. You don't really have another choice. I mean, you're not going to put fucking Strowman and Shane last. You're not going to put the tag titles last. I mean, you're not going to put Bad Bunny last. So it's, I mean, yeah, it's the only other choice you've got. But I mean, it still felt like a weak match to me. Like, it never caught on. It didn't feel like it went. It felt like it needed just a bit more time. How long did this match go for?
I don't
know.
have the exact amount of
It
time.
went for
I
about-
don't have a stopwatch like Dave Meltzer. Okay.
I think it was about 20 minutes or something like that. About
No
20,
way.
somewhere around there.
I don't know. It just felt like it never caught on. It just didn't feel like it just went long enough. And also that welt on Sasha was fucked. So kudos to them for that. But still want to question, why doesn't the ref count 5 pulling her?
Wow, that's what you took away from it. That's the biggest thing you took away from it.
I think he had to be cooking dinner. He did not watch the same match.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
He was cooking his. He had his SpaghettiOs on the stove.
It's not the only thing. I think he was cooking his own brain by smoking a few cones. I'm sorry, Jack. I completely disagree. And now it's my turn, everyone. I get the last say on the final match of the first night of WrestleMania 37.
You're a dickhead.
Okay? Thank you, DJ. I will take that as a compliment. The build-up, very weak build-up. Okay? Michael Cole, I think, was the one that said this is the first time that 2 black women have headlined a WrestleMania. It's also the first time 2 black people have headlined a WrestleMania. But I have an addition. It is the first time 2 black women and an Asian referee have headlined WrestleMania. Thank you very much.
What does that even have to do with it?
He's Asian. And I noticed it straight away.
That's not a statistic at all.
No, but like it's very rare to see an Asian referee.
No one's keeping track of that.
New Japan.
No one's keeping track of that.
I took track of it. Okay, I recall it, and I thought it was a fantastic moment for wrestling history. Thank you.
Yes.
And you know what, Jack? This is what I want to say. You're mad about the referee helping her go through for the suicide dive. Have you not seen her almost kill herself several times
Then
without
don't
that help?
do it. Then don't do the fucking suicide dive.
Did it look good or not? Because it looked pretty good to me tonight. And
I agree.
If he happened to help, because he was looking through the ropes, because she wants to do the spot, and it looked good in the end. Who gives a shit?
It's just like, why would the referee help a wrestler?
It at that point.
No, it's not. It's so simple. Why would a referee help a wrestler?
Yeah,
he wasn't helping. He was looking through the ropes to count her out.
All right, stop with that. With
that's
that
the whole point.
With that comment, every ladder match. I'm just going to point that out. Every ladder match.
holds the ladder to make sure.
I'm fucking rip my hair out.
Like why are you even looking at that? You should be looking at Sasha about to do a suicide dive, and you're worried about the referee holding the ropes open. My God.
Yeah, my wrestling needs to make sense, dude.
Oh yeah, so it didn't make sense that he was looking to the outside to tell
he's doing a count out
the opponent to come back inside the ring. It's not like he was just holding the ropes open like this, going, "Come on, Sasha, it's your spot now."
Doing the Ric
That's
Flair.
my point that I'm trying to make. Thank you. Okay, I'm going to get on with it. I'm happy to see a match happen for the first time, and not a match that's happened between people that have wrestled 40 times. It was nice to see a first time ever. Which is something that happens in WWE a lot. There's always matches that have happened a million times before they get to Mania, like Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. Bianca, she kind of turned me on early in the match. I was really impressed with her. Really impressed with the strength, with all the moves that Sasha was trying to utilize. And stops her in her tracks. I liked that. It showed the strength of Bianca Belair. Very nice. And I wrote, Jesus Christ, Bianca is strong as fuck. I was glued to the match. So they've done well, when I feel gripped and I'm like, just hanging on the edge of my seat. I know that they've done well. I like the spots with the hair. I didn't think about the fact that the referee wasn't counting to 5 because I'm worried about the match and not the referee.
And also, I'm pretty sure I did see the counts as well. There were counts.
I think he did too, and he was trying to untangle shit as well at certain times. One thing I noticed was during the bank statement, Bianca needs to work on showing pain in her face because it kind of looked like she was almost smiling. At certain times, but I don't know, maybe she was like in deep thought at the time. The reaction that Bianca gave to the kicking out of the 450 splash, the screaming, I was like, no screaming, okay, just be frustrated, no screaming, okay. And I wish the 450 was flush, but it's okay. If I tried to do it, I probably wouldn't even make the first rotation, so I can't give any negative feedback there, really. The shot with the hair to the gut sounded like a gunshot. That was, I jumped in my seat a little bit. I was like, holy shit, did someone shoot a gun in the arena? That was like one of the most sickening sounds I've ever heard in a wrestling match. Great finish. Loved how it finished. And my final note of the match is, Michael Cole, you fucking idiot. She did not kick out. They'll edit that one in post, I think, when they re-upload the the show later on. Sasha did not kick out Michael. It was a 3 count. Everyone else in the world knew it was a 3 count, but you didn't.
Yeah.
So anyway, that comes to the end of my notes. But guys, hell of a show, I think. I was happy with WrestleMania 37. There were some low points, and who would have thought the cage match might have been a low point? But okay, we've got to this point. Let's summarize. Jack has work very soon, in about 8 hours or so, 7 hours maybe. But let's summarize quickly. Okay, how happy are we with the show, and how much are we looking forward to tomorrow? Bay Ragni, our special guest, please take us away.
It wasn't a bad show. I thought, like you said, there was high points, low points. I thought there was the 3 standout matches for me that really kind of just overshadowed the rest of the show, and I don't even remember those bad matches now. And I was really happy with those 3 high point matches.
Excellent. DJ?
Yeah, I thought it was a tremendous show. It's the first time in a long time where I've actually watched a full WWE show and not fast forwarded through 90% of it. And of course, I had to watch through the whole thing for the purposes of doing this review, but I found that the whole show overall was very enjoyable.
Very nice. Luke?
This was what I believe to have been the weaker of the 2 nights. So I don't like getting my hopes up.
How would you know so far?
No, I out of the 2 match, they've said the nights. This is the matches on this one. Yeah, the cards.
Yeah.
This seemed like the weaker one, and I don't like getting.
I think the other one's weaker. I honestly think the other one's.
I don't agree.
It feels to me, but
there's a lot of weak matches on both cards, but I feel like night 1 was the weaker one compared to night 2, and I don't like getting my hopes up for Manias because a lot of the time they do let down. But after tonight, well, wherever you may be, after night 1, I'm pretty keen for night 2, and we're gonna have to wait and see. I'm pretty happy with how it all went. Matches were good, but the cage match, I can't wait. It's weird.
Very nice. Before I throw it to Jack, I just want to say the VIP of tonight's review show is Bay Ragni. But I would like to say that the MVP, Juicy Boy, I think you've done a great job, and I think you impressed Mr. Bay Ragni here tonight with your astute thoughts, my friend.
Astute.
Everybody impressed me. Everybody, the thing.
Wait, hang on. Whoa, Bay, please. Jack missed like 3 matches, so.
but what I was going to say, it's interesting to hear not only everybody's opinions, but you can see how everybody truly little things in each match. Everybody picked out more and what affected each person. It was really interesting to hear everybody's thoughts and what the little things that they were able to pick out of each match.
I'm glad that you think that, sir. And Jack, I'm going to go to you. Overall, where does this rank for you with your past WrestleManias?
I went into this Mania with very, very, very low expectations, and I came out of it thinking this Mania was better than it had any right to be. Overall, there was so many more stronger matches on the card than there were weak. I know that a lot of my opinions tonight were negative, but most of them were just nitpicks. And overall, most of the matches were fine to watch. There wasn't anything that really made me want to pull my hair out, except maybe the tag team turmoil match. But again, I didn't stick around and watch it. I was making breakfast.
You know what? It wasn't really that bad. It was okay.
It couldn't have ended fast enough for me. But one more thing.
God forbid that you look at good-looking women for about 15 minutes.
Also, I'm excited about night 2, except for the Fiend versus Randy Orton, which I think is going to be a
you know what? Just keep an open mind, DJ. Keep an open mind. Okay?
Hey, just keep this in mind. Mr. 55 has been so against celebrity matches, and his match of the night was Bad Bunny's.
Yeah,
I still wasn't even done talking. I just wanted to point out that Bad Bunny impressed the fuck out of me, and he's over with me now. Still not going to listen to his music, but I'm fine with him sticking around, bro.
Guys, get this. Man. After night 2, Mr. 55 is going to be a huge fan of Logan Paul.
Oh, okay, no, that's not going to happen.
No.
Guys, I'm going to have to cut you off there. I'm not like Luke. I'm not going to lose control right near the end when I need to wrap this up. Okay.
Yeah. Let's
But I
wrap it
want
up.
to thank you all for being a part of this tonight. I know it's 1:45 in the morning, and you know what? I'm popping over the fact that Jack has to be up really early for work, and it went this long. So it makes me feel good. Okay, very good. And I'm sorry, Jack, but
You're a piece of shit.
after missing several of the matches, you deserve this.
You
my friend.
deserve it. You
I was the only
deserve
one.
it.
I was the only one that watched this live, like legitimately live.
Get yourself some warm
And
milk,
you had,
brother.
you had the least thoughts as well. So owned. Okay,
Because it was so early in the morning, but
I love you, Jack, and I want to thank you first and foremost, Jack, for being a part of this tonight. MonetMaaate for being a part of this tonight. Juicy Boy, and of course, our very good friend, a legend of the wrestling industry, the one and only incomparable Bay Ragni. Thank you for being a part of this tonight, and we can't
thank
wait
you,
to
guys.
speak to you in less than 24 hours time for the next review.
Thanks for asking me to do this. It was a lot of fun.
Cool, man. And we're going to have even more fun in less than 24 hours time. And again, to everyone on Twitch, I want to thank you for your time here tonight, for watching us talk a bunch of shit for several hours about the first night of WrestleMania 37. We're going to be here again in less than 24 hours time for day 2 of WrestleMania, and I'm certainly looking forward to it and jiving and talking some shit with you boys once again. So thank you all, guys, and thank you everyone on Twitch for watching us here on the Four Orsemen podcast, and we will see you next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
It's been
guys.
great.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank-
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.
you.
We'll see you down the
Actually,
road.
you know what? We'll let Bay get the last word in. Let Bay get the last
Okay,
word.
let Bay get the last. Bay, just tell everyone, plug everything, and then say goodbye to everyone.
Thank you all. First of all, thanks. I mean, if you guys are on Facebook, hit me up. Like, let's be friends. And go to Facebook. I got a bunch of stuff I'm always working on. I do the Bay Ragni show. It's on Totally Driven TV on Facebook and YouTube. And also too, I have another YouTube show that me and my fiance do. It's called Coco Bay. So look for us. We do a lot of food reviews and thrifting and flipping and eBaying. So look for Coco Bay on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram. Coco Bay winning, actually. So there you go.
Excellent, Bay. And
Sweet.
thank you, everyone. We will see you in less than 24 hours time for the next review. Good night.
Yeah. See you down the road.
Yeah.
Bye.